Fret not friends. The Fan is still live and local with Fan Sports Saturday. Sure, the name might not be great, but what if we included Dame Sanzenbacher, a 4-year letterman at Ohio State, MVP of the 2010 football season, a former Cincinnati Bengal, and a man with 4 pairs of gold pants.
Fired to the 15, to the 10, and taken down at the 8 is Terrell. Football fumbled at the end of the play. It's in the end zone and recovered by an Ohio State player for a touchdown.
Is that Dane Sanzenbacher?
It sure looks like it. He fell on the fumble in the end zone. Dane Sanzenbacher.
It's Fan Sports Saturday with Buckeye heartthrob Dane Sanzenbacher.
I think he's just dreaming.
Oh, and Eric Reeser, too.
Shaping up to be a 10 out of 10 day here at Muirfield Village. It's moving day at Jack's Place. As you heard from Big Voice Guy, I am Eric Reeser, joined by a 10 out of 10 human being, Dane Sanzenbacher. Buddy, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Eric?
I'm wonderful.
Eric, where'd you grow up in Ohio?
Upper Arlington.
Oh, you're from here?
I'm from kind of here. This is Dublin. So
well, I know.
You don't want to get... I know this is a semantic argument for most, but there's a difference.
Okay. No, my voice is really loud in my headphones right now, and I sound so Northwest Ohio.
Oh.
No, it wasn't. It's not anything that's the volume. It's hearing my own voice. I'm very nasally, so I apologize to listeners up front for this 3 hours. You're going to have to deal with Northwest Ohio.
You're giving them the gift of you for the next 3 hours.
The A's go,
I didn't know there was a Northwest Ohio dialect.
Yeah.
I knew there was a Northeast one. Northeast Ohio, I didn't know there were both.
I think they're similar.
I don't know if there's a Columbus one. I don't think there is.
No.
I just kind of sound like a regular person, although I'm also on the nasally side.
Everybody thinks they sound like a regular person.
And I think most people on the radio think they have a voice for silent film, but they're doing a radio job, so regardless, you have to talk.
Okay.
And we'll be doing that for the next 3 hours.
So nobody likes themselves on radio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all a bunch of weirdos.
All right.
If you hadn't, again, interacting with us for as long as you have, noticed that?
I have.
I
just wanted to bring the audience in.
Very insecure bunch.
Yep. Like off the bat, I couldn't even get to how I'm doing without trying to talk about how I feel bad about myself in my voice.
Why is that?
We didn't even get worth three minutes into the show.
It's a little chilly, and I would say those wearing white, you picked an ambitious choice because there are some slick spots out there on the course. It's a little muddy. As I was driving in, so you can't do the Memorial Tournament without really the hundreds of volunteers that make this so special. Like, there are events on the sporting calendar in Columbus. The crown jewel, obviously, is Ohio State and Michigan. And then next is the Memorial Tournament. And the volunteers are really what make this thing so special. Yes, the 8 of the top 10 golfers in the world is great. The patrons, the Golden Bear, but it's the volunteers, I think, that really make this machine go. And the wonderful woman that was driving us over to the course on the shuttle this morning, she said this with confidence, so it must be true. Since they started charting rainfall in the 1870s, this May, in 2025, is the 13th wettest May on record. And again, I'm not going to question her because with such confidence the way she said it.
We shouldn't look that up. That is.
But it feels right, though, doesn't it?
Not to me. I don't think I've...
No?
I guess I'm looking around and I'm wrong.
Right, Jen Winters is with us.
I spent a lot of time inside.
Okay, so you just don't
it has been
look out the window?
Drastically wet and disgusting. And get over yourselves, Ohio.
Well,
Let's move on.
Today should be beautiful, but the parking lot getting here was an absolute mess. And yes, white was a bold choice.
White on the shoes.
Light shoes. It's already too late. It's I'm pretty mud splashed, but it'll dry up by this afternoon. Yeah, and you've got some time until... I mean, I think guys are teeing off right now, but until the leaders go off later this afternoon.
Yeah, I think it's Hideki Matsuyama's the first off the tee this morning, and then Wyndham Clark, Cam Young going. Matt Kuchar update, he's in about 10 minutes.
Cooch.
But as you heard from Jacob Reimer there, the big boys are going at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. You got Akshay Bhatia, Scotty Scheffler, Nick Taylor, Ben Griffin. Taylor and Griffin, 7 under for the tournament. It was Nick Taylor yesterday, a 4 under for a Friday that was a mess. And the idea that he could pull that off, it's like, all right, follow it up on moving day, which I think will be a lot of fun for the patrons out here to kind of watch these golfers struggle.
Yeah, and I think this is always a fun tournament for guys that maybe aren't the top names, because this is, while it's not a major, it's kind of one of those that can elevate you.
Yes.
It can elevate you, the perception. If you can win here, then you have the chops to win anywhere on the PGA Tour. So to the casual golf fan, some of that leaderboard is like, oh, who are these guys with a chance to now on Saturday and Sunday put themselves on the map?
And Max Homa had said that earlier this week that growing up, and with a lot of these guys who are in their kind of mid-20s, late 20s, they watched Tiger go back to back to back at this course. And so that was, obviously with what Tiger Woods did, they grew up following that. And so this course, you obviously know Jack Nicklaus, and you know kind of the legacy that this place has built. And really, this area, Muirfield Village, it's kind of on a parallel track with the city of Columbus and with Central Ohio. This is the 50th playing of this tournament. They're going to celebrate the 50th anniversary next year in 2026. But as Central Ohio's expanded, so has really this tournament in terms of a national and a global sensation. I mean, if Hideki Matsuyama has such a huge following in Japan, there's a huge Japanese media contingent out, and it is really cool, to watch everybody. You see all the national flags. Shane Lowry, guys from all over the world have their fan bases, and they follow them here to this event, and it's grown, as is the city of Columbus, as is Central Ohio. It kind of goes with this.
That's one of the cooler parts to see, is when these guys come in and start to enjoy coming to the tournament, not just because the course, because they like to come visit Dublin and they like to come visit Columbus. You see more and more stories coming out of like, oh, we make this trip and then this is what our family does here. My wife follows Max Homa's wife on the socials.
Okay.
So I get secondhand social updates on things. But apparently she loves coming to this tournament because it's also family friendly and they've got 2 young kids, and you mentioned the staff and the volunteers. All the players rave about how much they take care of the families and how much they make it a good experience. That all turns into this being a really cool event that, it feels like it's just getting bigger and bigger. Yeah,
and if you are on your way out to Muirfield Village, again, white would be a very ambitious choice.
I think you should do it.
But if you see any of the volunteers out here, and the gold shirts will kind of give that away. And if you are offered a beer, if you're given a beer by any of them, just please thank them for everything they do this weekend, because this does not happen without them, but it also doesn't happen without the golfers. And so as they start to their third round starts to kind of matriculate, we get into the later rounds of the afternoon. It is shaping up. We're probably in the upper 60s for temperatures, and I think the sun does want to peek out at times, but like I said in the open, we are in for a 10 out of 10 day today, and then I think tomorrow is going to be even better. So that final handshake, whoever wins it, and I know it was Scotty Vegas this week, was big on Scotty Scheffler.
Oh, wow, way to go out on a limb.
It was really, really bold of him to make that choice, right?
That's the hot take.
But you're looking at about 70, 75 degrees for that final. So it has shaped up pretty perfectly. And, Dan, we're thrilled you're out here joining us in this adventure.
Eric, thanks, man.
How many memorial tournaments have you been to?
I've probably been to 4 or 5. I never went when I was in college to a tournament. I did come back when I was playing in Cincinnati. A couple of my teammates were just huge golf bums outside the locker room, and so we made the drive up. So that would have been 2013 and 14. Then didn't go to a few, and we moved back to Columbus in 2019, and I think I've been every year since. So I don't know, 5. It's always fun to get out here, and now that we usually will come to at least recently, the earlier, Monday. I shouldn't even call them rounds. It's open, so you can walk around. Yeah. They're $9 tickets, and we can bring the kids out, and it's just like you're in the nicest park in Ohio. So that's always fun. But yeah, it's a great event, man. This is the first time I've done radio here.
It's a cool
the first
thing
time I've added something to the tournament. You didn't mention how important the media is
your
to
presence.
This. You said volunteers, golfers.
I am media, so the last thing I want to do is say I'm important.
Come on.
You're important, and you're important to this. And if you are coming out to Muirfield Village, we're outside the Champions Pavilion until 1 o'clock today. I'm looking at our YouTube chat, and Kevin says he was lucky enough to get married out here. Says they treated us like royalty. Literally, my family still talks about the service here.
That is actually a great point. Somebody asked me that if they do weddings here, and I did not know they did. I didn't know, but apparently they did. And I'm also seeing on the chat. Look at me right here on the camera. I need to. I can't just be facing you. This is a production value here.
All right. Because we can affix the camera we could just do a Dane camera on YouTube. Get that.
The next segment we can do that.
2.5, 3 hours.
But I can imagine this is to get us back on. This is a beautiful place for a wedding.
It does help to have one of the two people with a face for television, because I got, again, a face for radio and a voice of silent film. But you, my friend,
the self-deprecating,
make it really special
radio personalities
to be out here. So again, outside the Champions Pavilion, right as you hop off the shuttle buses, kind of near the 18th green. Boy, a pretty busy week for college football. I know Kevin also chimed in and said, hey, put some respect on Ohio State Purdue at noon. Well, I don't think that game has been announced yet. There are 4 games for the Buckeyes that have been finalized for kickoff times, and I guess we're looking at a big noon bummer. We'll discuss that next. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you've come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Dude, I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a big gulp from Speedway.
Exactly. Song of the summer. Here comes the drop. Crisp, fruity flavors like the limited time Mountain Dew Pitch Black. And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a summer hit.
I'm not sure you know how songs work.
The convenience stores of Speedway. Hold on. You gotta hear how it ends. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas!
Then it's off to Rome,
Georgia!
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin.
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $514 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a room of rejected mascot memorabilia. Is it real? No one knows. But we do know NJM is proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Many drugs, like cocaine, methamphetamine, and non-prescription pills, are often cut with dangerous opioids like fentanyl. As a result, nearly 14 Ohioans die daily from unintentional overdoses. That's why it's important to carry naloxone, such as Narcan, a life-saving medication that blocks the effects of fentanyl and other opioids. Over the last 5 years, naloxone has saved over 83,000 lives. Help save lives and visit naloxone.ohio.gov to learn more and find free naloxone. Remember, if you see an overdose occurring, always call 911.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
How about this? You need auto insurance. You could A, pick AAA to find the best coverage for you, or B, spend so much time researching insurance jargon that you might as well have gotten a law degree.
Yeah, I'm going with A.
Right. Okay, you're booking a vacation. You can A, have AAA plan it for you, or B, stress so hard about layovers and getting to your cruise that you need a vacation from booking your vacation.
That's easy. A, AAA.
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Going up. Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40, period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
Boating
season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Bands are us. When dreams sunk in, bands are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bands are us. When dreams sunk in, bands are us.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking ahead to mostly sunny skies here today. Highs into the upper 60s, so still cool and breezy with winds out the northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Then tonight, mostly clear, cooling down to the upper 40s. But by Sunday, we're back to the lower 70s with more sunshine and then well into the 80s looking ahead to next week. I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
There's nothing Bo Bishop can't do well, except find competent co-hosts. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan. You're locked into a special edition of Fan Sports Saturday live from the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Dane and the Dingus on 97.1 The Fan.
That's
live outside the Champions Pavilion here at Muirfield Village. Day 3 of the Memorial Tournament. It's moving day at Jack's Place. Only a handful of golfers out on the course right now. We'll get about an hour in, then I can say a gaggle of golfers, so I'm really excited for that. Your leaders don't go to about 3 o'clock this afternoon, but we will provide you leaderboard updates and memorial coverage for the next 3 hours. And then our friends over at 10 TV have the coverage on television starting at 5:30 after Premier League soccer gets done on CBS. You were saying before the show that you've been trying to pick a Premier League club so that you get Saturday and Sunday morning soccer. How's that going?
Well, I tried and I gave up on it, but I do appreciate it. I do love the morning soccer on Saturdays, and getting a chance in Ohio to watch Premier League I thought was a treat. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to find a team, and I'm going to become a soccer fan. So I initially landed on the same team Jen is now suffering through, Everton.
Okay.
And I was like, I gave that a couple games. I said, I don't think so. I don't think this is where I want to go. So I'm like, I'm going to see who I'm drawn to, and then it ended up being Manchester United. And then I was informed that's like joining, like deciding you like the Yankees if you want to be a baseball fan. So I pivoted and decided, you know what? I'm an MLB fan. I'm getting a baseball team.
Okay.
And
you got to say it now.
Well,
who's the? Did you pick the Everton of Major League Baseball? Was that who?
I went with it was well thought through. Okay, I went through my boxes and I have my reasons, but I chose the Chicago White Sox.
All right, say that again.
I chose the Chicago White Sox,
and that's what. Why?
That's what marriage is all about. You know, when you marry a team, you got to choose them every day, Eric. It's not, you're not always going to have that love and feeling, but you choose each other, and it builds that bond. So that's what me and the White Sox are doing right now. And we're going to get through our hard times first.
Okay.
But when we get there, everybody's going to know that I bought my White Sox hat in 2025.
They can never say you're a bandwagon fan.
Nope. I wrote the year on the inside of the hat, just so they know. I didn't when this thing starts to take off, I was here first.
I figured we'd say some wild stuff over the next 3 hours, but I chose the Chicago White Sox. Might be the most wild thing we said.
My reasoning was I didn't want to jump on bandwagon of Ohio team. They've never really clicked with me, and also I didn't want to seem like a poser. I lived in Chicago for a little bit, so I'm like, well, also I grew up in Toledo, too close to Detroit. I'm not wearing a Detroit hat in Columbus.
I see.
I lived in Chicago, played for the Bears. I visit Chicago a lot, have friends there. I'm like, okay, I'm a Chicago guy. Not going to pick the Cubs. That's just too on the nose.
Yeah.
So what does that leave you with? That leaves you with the Southsiders.
Wow.
And so that's what I landed on, and that's what I'm going with.
You're a trooper. You're a fighter. You're a grinder.
Got to start somewhere.
Man, your team stinks.
I have a goal this year of being a better fan of sports teams. I've not been a good fan. So I want to experience what people have, the joy of being a fan of a team.
You want the ups and the downs.
I want the whole thing, yeah.
Boy, and because with Ohio State, you get the highest of highs, and with the Chicago White Sox, you get the absolute lowest of lows.
Yes, well, I'm not good at being an Ohio State fan.
Oh, no?
Though. I'm not good at being a fan. I obviously root for them, but it feels more like it's too close, you know? It's like, are you a fan of your family? Like, no, I'm sometimes.
No?
But I'm,
Wait a minute.
That's what it feels like.
Okay. I'm having a hard time reaching there.
Oh, I didn't know you didn't like your family. I hope they're not listening.
I love my family, but I do root for them.
That's right. So you'd root for them. Sometimes you're like, oh, this is too close, but it's not like you're
Sometimes
like.
I'm so disappointed in them.
I'm not a fan that is going to make excuses because I'm just a blinded fan. Like I live with a blinded fan that will never see what is reality.
The flaws and the faults
of the Indiana Hoosiers.
Okay,
if you're listening, sweetie, you won't see it. Because you're that blinded of a fan. I'm not good at doing that, and I can't do it with Ohio State. Always root for them. But the White Sox, I'm going to be a blind fan. I'll make all the excuses for them.
Gosh, we're going to figure out what the White Sox are doing. I think they're playing the Orioles this weekend.
The only team worse than us.
Right. It's a race to the bottom for both squads. So we'll kind of figure out what your rooting interests this weekend are going to be. Come August 30th, I guess you're going to be filled in on what Ohio State's doing with Texas, but I don't know now after this conversation if you're going to be rooting for the Buckeyes against the Longhorns.
How did you take that away from, I stated 4 times, I'm always rooting for them?
It just didn't seem like you were rah-rah Ohio State.
I'm not rah-rah.
Why not?
Because I played there. It's not. You don't turn into
it's hard for me to compute that, as you can clearly see, like the color wheel spinning.
We're going to get you there. I'm sure.
I don't know, man.
I thought that the family analogy would get it there for you, but I guess not. I'm very clued in, and I am part of the best pre-game show on the radio.
Yes, you are.
For the season, about 6 hours before kickoff, and you can't beat it. It's best 6 hour before show. So I am always clued in on what is happening, and I will be talking about the Texas game at that time.
At 6:30 in the morning,
and I'll be
30th.
Fired up that it's a noon game.
When the time was announced, did you want it moved off of noon?
You know, I never. None of it bothered me that much. But I think I'm slowly, like a lot of fans are, getting just like numb to
6 straight last season. You're like, again with this?
I've kind of resigned to all the sausage making that is college football, and I just want to let's get to the game, and I'll talk about the X's and O's that gets in there. It's too exhausting, so it's okay.
I do think
noon games can be our thing.
When it was Ross Bjork that was discussing the idea that they were going to try to get the Texas-Ohio State game moved off of noon, in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Because it's a contract you sign. You took Fox's money. They get to dictate when they want their marquee matchups. And so they've got Ohio State-Texas at noon on August 30th, and they've got Ohio State-Michigan on November 29th, also a noon kick. I think where Ohio State-Michigan should always be noon. Ohio State-Texas week 1, when it's 1 versus 2, I don't love, but that's what you took the money for. And you can do nothing about it right now. I understand the anger, but I do feel it'll dissipate the closer we get to college football, because it does feel like on August 30th, like, oh my God, it's here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I mean, if Ohio State-Michigan at noon can be a good thing, you know, if that can be a prestigious thing, that can be a traditional thing. I mean, I'm fine. Just if that's the route where Ohio State's going, okay, we're a noon school. It's tradition. Every Saturday, you find us at noon. It's a new tradition.
You do see 2 other announcements this week for Ohio State kick times. Week 2 hosting Grambling State. That's a 3:30 kick on Big Ten Network. And then their Week 3 matchup against the mighty Ohio Bobcats. That's a 7 o'clock kick on Peacock.
Mm-hmm. Why are you smiling so hard?
It was the way it was intended with Peacock and their streaming service, nonsensical matchups like this.
Yep, that's what it's created for.
They're going to crush the Bobcats by 30 points. And maybe I'll join you on the pre-game show.
We would love to have you on.
Live from campus in my Ohio.
Yeah, if you guys are watching on the
shirt.
YouTube chat, you can see that he chose to wear his Ohio Bobcat shirt today.
You see a lot of Bobcat stuff around here. It's an appropriate place to do it. Maybe less so on what would it be, September 13th?
I still think you'd be fine.
I do too.
Bobcats coming to town. Aside from the mascot
Bobcats
kind of
are
being a jerk.
in town.
You know, well,
you were on that team when Rufus attacked Brutus.
Yeah, what's
2011?
up? Yeah.
So the legend goes.
Is that why they put it in primetime now? It's like the rematch?
So Rufus won't. Oh. That's the opening. I
think that's why they did it.
That's your prelim fight.
Yeah.
Just put them right in the middle of the horseshoe.
Yeah. And then we'll do a game after that.
You got to get people into the stadium somehow on time. I don't necessarily know if the football game's going to do it.
I think you're still safe to wear Ohio gear. That's one of those
they're everywhere in Columbus.
Well, nobody's going to. You're not like a rival to Ohio State.
No.
So it's like that's a friendly game.
This is fly meets windshield. I do always think, because we're going to get to a point, and we'll discuss this later in the show, where Ohio State and Big Ten teams are going to be playing SEC teams probably every year. They're going to do a scheduling agreement where it's Big Ten SEC Challenge. So you get that, you get your 9 conference games, and then you'll get your 2 cupcakes. I am all for every year you schedule Ohio teams as your cupcakes. So now that Eddie George is at Bowling Green, Ohio, Miami, Akron, Toledo, Kent, bring them to Columbus and let Ohio kids play in the cathedral of the sport. You don't need Grambling's cool, Youngstown State's cool, but keep it the FBS schools from Ohio is where I would sit.
Again, I'm for that. I'm for whatever is gonna. Whatever they decide, Eric. I'm great with.
You're very indifferent
It's a great
to
idea.
this.
You want to have a 25-team playoff? That's great.
Oh, they're getting there.
Great.
At one point, you'll see 30 teams in the college football
Go ahead and
playoff.
do it. They don't care what I think.
I want to tell Tony Petitti, you don't stop until you get Indiana you get Illinois into the college football playoff. You get Purdue into the college football playoff.
Did you just tear out Indiana? Did you say, ooh, there wasn't a good example?
They actually made the college football playoff when it expanded to 12 teams. And next year will be the last year of the 12-teamer, and the second year, and then it'll go to 16 in 2026, which fun for the whole family.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
There aren't 16 teams that should be competing for a national championship.
It depends. I mean,
were there 12? Were there 12 this past year?
It's the shift on what you're trying to get out of it. Everybody's going to see it, or the comp to how college does basketball. There's not 64 teams that should be competing for it, but it's like become a bigger thing than just about that. Yes, once you get to the end, once you're getting to the Elite Eight, yeah, those guys are competing for it, and all of them that have made it there deserve to be there. But it becomes a different goal to make the tournament for a lot of teams. It's not just setting up the entire college season, like the point being for one person to win a national championship. You can still have a good year. So it feels like that's where college football is going, in that it is a crown jewel to make the playoff. And it's not just about how do we suss out how to get the best teams in here to do it. You broaden the table to, I think, encompass as many college teams as you can, whether they're going to have a legit shot of winning it or not.
You had thrown out a sausage-making analogy earlier in this segment. Ross Bjork has a little bit of insight on how the sausage is going to be made. We'll discuss that in 2 minutes. It's Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Nashville's hottest band, Old Dominion, is coming to Great American Ballpark on July 10th as part of the Ohio Lottery post-game concert series. After the Reds take on the Marlins, all fans in attendance are invited to stay and enjoy a set from Old Dominion. Plus, you can upgrade your ticket to a pit field pass for an up-close view of the show. For tickets and more information, visit reds.com/concerts.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
97.1 The Fan Memorial Leaderboard Update.
And this leaderboard update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance your auto loan with BMI Federal Credit Union. The third round of the Memorial Tournament is just getting underway from Muirfield Village. Only a few groups out on the course right now, including Hideki Matsuyama, who is playing by himself, and he's even on his round with a birdie on the first hole and then bogeyed the third. Ben Griffin and Nick Taylor are your leaders heading into the weekend, and they don't tee off until 3:10 this afternoon. Akshay Bhatia is in the penultimate group, sitting 2 shots back at 5 under par. He's with defending champion and world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, who lurks solo in 4th, just 3 behind the leaders at 4 under. Those two will begin their rounds at 2:59. I'm Jacob Reimer, and we'll be back with another live Memorial Tournament update in an hour here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
An encyclopedic knowledge of sports and other random things you may or may not care about.
I think I found my mentor.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. 30 hours of live Memorial coverage. Yes, please. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday live at the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Eric Reeser, Dane Sanzenbacher live outside the Champions Pavilion. Day 3 of the Memorial Tournament out at Muirfield Village. Stop by and see us and say hi. You can see how good Dane Sanzenbacher looks, or you can, in the YouTube chat, see it. It's wonderful to have you out here. It's wonderful to have our guest out here, David Babner, race director of the Cap City Half Marathon and really Memorial Tournament dignitary.
What's up, guys?
How are you
doing? This is awesome, isn't it?
It's.
You get the smoothies yet? We doing milkshakes?
So Chef Steven this morning brought by, and I'll have to make sure I get it right. So a credit to Chef Steven and his staff. They do an incredible job for 4 days. A tropic green smoothie.
There you go.
And I had that before the show. It's pretty good.
Wow,
I've got nothing but the media coffee, but it is jet fuel. I will say this is the strongest coffee that I've had in a long time.
Well, if you get a chance this week, this World PBJ, my favorite of the bunch.
So Chef Steven on Thursday brought one out for Tyvis, and Tyvis had to jet to Cleveland for the one of the 6 jobs that he does. So I got to drink that on Thursday, and then I think he was able to consume one on Friday. But it's interesting when you look at this thing; it tells you like when's the best time to consume that. And I don't know for a Swirled PB&J you want to do a pre-round, especially if you're going to go golf out here.
Right.
Because as I'm sure you know, walking these hills is a workout not only for like your calves but your core.
I just walked 15 minutes over here to find you guys. I got a few steps in this morning.
Reside on the golf course here. How many Memorial Tournaments is this for you, David Babner?
So we started living in that home in 2013, right before the President's Cup. So we entertained for the President's Cup, and then if you think what's happened since then, right? Right after COVID, we had COVID and had the workday event right before Memorial back-to-back. Then Jack said, I'm going to redo the golf course, and 15 is one of the holes that has the most significant effect. Mm-hmm. Flatten the course, move the green a lot closer to where we live, and it's just become, we're honored to be able to live there. It's fantastic.
When Jack Nicklaus comes by in his golf cart, does he ask you what you'd like to do to your backyard, or does he tell you that tree's got to go, that's got to be raised, that's got to be diverted?
Well,
and it just happens.
When that conversation happened, it was my wife who was outside, and he said, Natalie, here's the deal. I love what you're doing with the flowers. This is great. The next morning, I woke up, and 2 trees that were on the golf course had been taken down. And we woke up to a chainsaw at about 7 in the morning. Ooh. Now we have a beautiful view over there. And it's just, this is an unbelievable place. Not only to live, but Dublin as a community is fantastic. The city of Columbus is great. I moved out here in 1990. I don't think I've missed a Memorial Tournament yet.
I was saying earlier in the show to Dane, as this course has grown, as this tournament has grown, so has the city of Dublin, so has Central Ohio. And they're on complete parallel tracks. And you guys last week did the 4-miler out here on Jack's course. What year was it for that event here?
That was the 12th year we've done that in a row.
Incredible.
Completely sold out this year. One of the biggest crowds we've ever had. 2,000 people started right in front of the pavilion, just left to where we're standing now. ran out the main gates. Beautiful tour of Dublin. The mayor of Dublin was here. Chris Grooms ran with everybody. John Reiner, a few other city council folks. And then they finished on the 18th green, and we went up to the Golden Bear Club for the post-race party. And it's the first time the public can get in here right before the tournament. So it's an unbelievable, it's a great event. We're honored to be able to kick that off on the Thursday night before the tournament. And then we get to hang out here and enjoy it all week long.
Yeah, if you're listening and if you are interested in what David Babner just said, he's the race director for the Cap City Half Marathon, m3sports.com for the 4-miler next year. It is really the official start to Memorial Tournament Week, which every single year it gets bigger and it gets better. And again, I just want to keep shouting out the wonderful volunteers of this course that really make this engine go. As a week, and the sporting world really is just kind of eyeballs on Columbus with casual golf fans, with hardcore golf fans, with people that just want to come out and have a good time. And David, I am really excited. Coming up in June, we've got our event 971 The Race.
Yes.
We're doing an Otterbein in Westerville. We got a 6-mile option, the 9.71K, the Fan 5K, and the Common Man Mile, the 1-mile run walk event. 971therace.com for that. Come out, hang out with us. It's really all about getting out and getting active and being healthy.
That's what everything we do at M3S is about. It's about celebrating a healthy, active lifestyle. It's super cool to get with you guys superstar athletes. You know, Dane next to me and Tyvis and Bobby and everybody. But to have everybody out here and then you guys encourage folks to come out and get fit and get active, that's what we're all about. It's about participation. It's about celebration. It's about get out, get active, get fit. You know I'm passionate about a couple of things. It's all about fitness. It's all about golf for me, and then transfusions on occasion.
Well,
yeah. That's later in the afternoon. We'll talk about that. But, yeah, that's what it's about. And when it was really you and T-Bone said, hey, why don't we try to do something together? It's a great collaboration. We collaborate with Ohio State, the Blue Jackets, Memorial Tournament, the Clippers, the Columbus Zoo. Why not you guys? And we're really excited for that inaugural race, June 21st, down at Otterbein. Anybody can do it. We got all kinds of options. We just want you to come out and participate with us. It's going to be a great day.
Yeah, how important do you think that type of thing is? Because like all the things you said you're passionate about seem to culminate and kind of intertwine with each other. For instance, the event you guys did here, I brought the family out, I think on Monday, just to kind of walk around, and people were still talking about it. Yeah. And I had been like, oh, they do. I apologize, I didn't know about it.
Okay.
So they were still talking about how cool it was to do the 4-miler here and get to see all the scene. One guy was like, yeah, I was just sitting there on the fairway by myself, and it was like being at the best park in the city. I wanted to ask, because you live here, we talked about how much the players seem over the years to enjoy more and more coming to Columbus. Not just to Muirfield, but coming to Columbus as like a trip for their families. How much do you think things like that are a part of it, and how important is that to attracting good talent to a tournament like this?
Well, it all starts with the community event, right? This has been going on this is the 50th playing of the event. So everybody's been coming here for 50 years. I think Jack and the team, Dan Sullivan, everybody at H&S Sports Group has done a remarkable job taking care of these athletes. So it's first class, and then their families as well. And then you think what's happened in Dublin, just the growth in Dublin over those years. Bridge Park wasn't there before. There's all kinds of things to do at Bridge Park. Shuttle buses running back and forth. They've got 4Fest at night, redoing the Bogey Inn, but they're still having some parties over there. That's what I remember from the 90s. That was always my go-to hangout. But then, like you mentioned what we did on Thursday. Well, Dan and his team put in a practice round ticket for anybody that participated in that event. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we saw folks walking around in 4-miler shirts. Maybe they hadn't been to the tournament before. Now they get to come out, see what this is all about. They had seen the 18th green before. They had walked around up 10. It's just to get people out here is pretty amazing. And the community, I mean, it starts with the city, and then you think about Columbus in general and the Greater Columbus Sports Commission and everything Linda Logan's done to bring more and more people here. And it's a signature event now, right? I mean, this is the best players in the world right here doing it. And then look at guys like Nick Taylor and Ben and those guys at the top of the leaderboard. How cool is that? It's just different. And Scotty's lurking, as he always does.
Yes.
All good stuff.
Yeah, 8 of the top 10 players in the world, and you get a lot of guys that they see Tiger, growing up as golf fans, they see Tiger go back to back to back, and they go, that's something I want to do someday at the course that Jack Nicklaus built. And m3sports.com is where you want to go for next year's registration if you want to do that 4-miler event here out on Jack's course.
And we sold it out, right? So now it's like you got to get in early. We'll get registration open here probably late spring, early fall. Maybe we'll get registration open. Ohio State 4-miler sells out. The Blue Jack, we had a lot of Blue Jackets guys over at the house yesterday. They're leaning into that event. It's a 5,500-person event now. Ohio State's 12,000. I think Dane's been on there. Lee's been on the cruise when we did the finish on the cruise stuff. The stuff we do with the zoo is completely sold out. 1,800 people going to finish in the wave pool on July 7th. So it's cool. And when I get to do events in Dublin, my hometown, it's pretty special.
When do you sleep?
Well, I'm. It's funny. They say, I'm a recovering lawyer. So I was a lawyer for about 20 years, and to be able to get into what I do in the event business now, it never feels like I'm working. I get to play golf. I get to see a lot of great people, and we get to produce fantastic events. We've got an unbelievable team, unbelievable volunteers. We follow a lot of what Dan's done with HNS.
Mm-hmm.
He's built an unbelievable company. We try to do some of the same things in running. It's all about passion. It's all putting on remarkable events. It's all about the experience, and that's, I'm very, very lucky to do what I do.
Do you ever get surprised by the growing number of people that sign up to exhaust themselves? This is a relatively new phenomenon. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying.
What's the furthest you've ever run?
You're asking me that?
Dane.
Like not in a race, but just done it. I've run 10 miles before.
Okay.
I've never done a half. But it just seems like these events get bigger and bigger, and it's just more and more people that are either gluttons for punishment. I guess there's the walk part, but do you ever get surprised at how big these events have grown and become like entwined in the community?
Well, if you think about running in the 70s and 80s, it was very male-dominated. It was type A personalities. It was all about competition. All of that changed in the late 90s. And then what we saw through the 2000s in the last 20 years or so has been the amount of people that just come out to participate and celebrate. Competition takes care of itself. We have some of the best runners in the world. We've hosted the national championships, done a bunch of things like that. But we're all about the community. And what people like to do is they're out running. The amount of run crews that are running on Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday night, Thursday night, all of that, those run crews are getting out, getting active, having a great time, and then they want to celebrate. So they come to these events. We put on huge parties. That's what we call it. It's big celebrations. Cap City is one of the biggest post-race parties in the whole country. People get to finish on the 50-yard line. They get to finish on the center ice. They get to finish on the 18th green. Just get them out, get them active. Once they do a couple of these events, they're hooked.
I will, yeah, and that's how I was a track kid in high school.
You're pretty fast in your day.
Well, I trot now, but it's not. But that's been my experience too. Even now that it's not even like the competitive side, you can build a community around that. It is it's a really fun bond and reason for people to do things. And now we're at a point like our family. People say like, "Oh, are you a part of a turkey trot family?" Like, yeah, my in-laws were like, well, that's part of the tradition. And it's not like we're going there trying to win the race. It just gives you a thing to do, and the more and it's very cool what you do, because the more you can tie it into cool locations and events, that's the draw. And the end product is you get people at events and out and interacting in a good way, most of the time for a good cause. It's just been funny to watch it grow. And I know a little bit of the history, so like looking back and when jogging was even a thing
100%.
to where it is now. It used to be pronounced jogging, right?
Back in the day, if you weren't running in a race, they would say, well, you're off the race. What are you doing walking?
Right.
For us, we don't care if you walk, run, walk, run, skip, jump. We just want you to come out and participate. We find a lot of people that will come out and volunteer for us. Then they might do the 5K. They might move to a 4-miler. They may go to a quarter marathon, then run the half. You being able to do 10 miles, you'll come out and train a little bit longer. You'll run the half, and you'll love it. And I bet you get
my
hooked.
sticker.
So I'll challenge you here. On Saturday, June 21st at Otterbein, do 971 the race, Dane. Come out, you can do the 1-mile walk run, or you can do the 5K. But it's a lot more fun, less run in this instance. Everything you said about the community thing is exactly what we want to do. And David Babner and our wonderful partners at M3S Sports have been so awesome in helping us make this a reality come June 21st. And then everything else that, David, you just mentioned that you do, the 50-yard line, center ice, home plate at Huntington Park, out here at Jack's Place. It's all about that community.
It's just about community. It's about getting people out and active. And once you do it once, we have so many people that just come out every single time. And one of the things we do with volunteers, if you volunteer for us, you get a free race entry. So we see a lot of folks that want to come out and support other runners. And the Run Crew thing, we hosted the National Association of Black Girls Run. We had 1,000 members of that group from all over the country coming here. So, I mean, just getting more run crews, getting more people active, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what fitness has done for this community.
M3Fsports.com, 971therace.com for all that registration. David Babner, he's the wizard of all of it and the unofficial mayor of Muirfield Village. So thankful that you could join us. We appreciate everything you've done. We look forward to seeing you on the 21st.
Well, thank you guys for the time this morning. Have a great show.
Fan interviews from the Memorial are sponsored by First Bank of Central Ohio. Some sausage talk coming up next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
The only workplace in America to participate in the Doorknob Fart Game. And we also play office basketball and sometimes do radio. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Tired of being undervalued? Join 9 Trees and get what you deserve. At 9 Trees, we don't just hire hardscapers. We build a team of skilled pros who take pride in their craft and get rewarded for it. Top pay that beats what you're making now, we guarantee it. Performance bonuses, modern equipment and the tools you need, medical benefits and retirement accounts. You've got the skills, we've got the respect, and the paycheck to match. Make the move. Apply today at 9treeslc.com or call 614-921-9595.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get your mulch as easy as ever. Save $50 on home delivery now through Sunday. All you got to do is visit ohiomulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, landscape supply.
Discover uncompromising quality at a reliable price with Giant Eagle in Market District. Look for signs throughout the store highlighting lower prices. Surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle. Experience value like never before. Visit Giant Eagle today to see how easy it is to save.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, as Care grew over the years, you had many opportunities to sell Care to one of the big conglomerates that are buying companies all over Central Ohio. So tell our customers why you decided to keep Care in the family.
After talking about Care's values for over 30 years, I couldn't bear the thought of Care becoming the kind of company I was warning our customers about. I know the two of you will continue to treat our customers as I would, with honesty and integrity.
We will, Dad. In 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
It's almost time for the inaugural 9.71 The Race.
Sponsored by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center.
Run, walk, have a beer with Common Man. Whatever strikes your fancy. Sign up today at 971therace.com.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
Don't settle for ordinary this summer when adventure awaits. Make memories that will last forever only at your Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, Central Ohio's family destination for fun. Plan your perfect summer trip at columbuszoo.org.
The Roofing Guys are your locally owned, trusted family business right here in Central Ohio. They've been hammering quality and service through the roof for over 25 years, offering professional services in roofing, siding, gutters, and more. Contact them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday, live from the Memorial.
Presented by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Eric Reeser, Dane Stanzenbacher, outside the Champions Pavilion. Day 3 of the Memorial Tournament out here at Jack's Place. And we just heard from David Babner, the race director of Cap City Half Marathon and the wizard of M3S Sports. 971therace.com. I want to see everyone, every single solitary person within the sound of my voice in Westerville on June 21st. That includes you, Dane.
I'll be there.
971therace.com for all the registration.
I was running.
What do you think you could do right now?
That was Forrest Gump, if you didn't know.
It was good.
It's a good Gump.
It was a good effort. You efforted it.
What do I think I could run a 5K in?
Yeah, sure.
I think I could average like a little over 6-minute miles.
Okay. That's pretty solid. I could do 8-minute miles, so a little bit behind you on that.
I don't know.
Just a smidge.
I stay running throughout the year, but not necessarily training, so I never get too out of shape, but I truly do it at this point because it's the most convenient, like, bare minimum that I can do.
Very minimalist.
Some people hate running. I don't hate it, so I find myself lucky that I don't hate it. So I can just leave my house if I've got, a half hour and go around the neighborhood, and I'm back. I'm like, okay, I did my workout. Have I touched a weight in a while? I have not. If you want me to do a CrossFit competition, I would not. I'm not going to do that, Eric.
Okay.
But
wasn't going to ask you.
Okay.
But maybe next year, if you want to do Murph with me.
Somebody asked me to do it this year, and I was really nervous.
Yeah.
Because they still respected me as like an athlete, and I didn't want to expose myself.
I still do.
Well, that's good. I want to keep that without having to prove it by doing 300 pull-ups or something.
It's 100 pull-ups.
Okay, well, whatever it is.
I understand your point.
It's not in the cards right now.
I guess this show, as people start to trickle in here at Muirfield Village, is going to be a get-to-know Dane Sanzenbacher program.
I'm not trying to, but
are you a buffet guy?
I only do this for therapy.
This is your therapy.
Yeah, I just need to get all this out.
Yeah, this is good for me, too. Are you a buffet guy?
I am. So I hadn't ever considered this question. I read it a little bit earlier, and it was a very simple answer.
And?
No.
Why not?
Well,
and I didn't mean to sound too judgmental there.
But it did. But if we want to go there, it seems like what we're doing.
Yes, it is what we're doing.
Well, I don't really love I think breakfast buffets, maybe you can get away with it. There's just the idea of you're just scooping out of the same food out in the open as everybody else.
Yes.
I wasn't aware there was like a thing of like a separation of you're a buffet guy or you're not a buffet guy. What makes you a buffet guy? You just really enjoy this
of scooping
It's a real
simple flow chart. Do you like buffet, yes or no? And if you say yes, buffet guy. If you say no, not a buffet guy.
All right, I'm a no.
It's the simplest thing. So the Memorial is a Columbus institution. Earlier this week, it was announced that another Columbus institution is returning after a 5-year hiatus. The Schmidt's Sausage House Audubon Buffet. Have you ever been to Schmidt's?
I've been to Schmidt's. I've not done the Audubon buffet.
Well, they haven't had it in 5 years. But now,
Hey,
for $20,
Eric, I've been in
you can
Columbus
get
for a long
all
time.
the sausage you would like, Dane.
How much sausage? Yeah, so I guess the questions
I
I'm
love this
asking me
next question.
are
Go.
telling me that I'm just not a buffet guy because I'm not speaking the language. I know a lot of our programming on this fine network focuses around food and how much at a disgusting pace you can eat it. The question was going to be how much sausage does one need? Why would you need an...
Well, it's from person to person. I don't know if there's a limit.
I just can't think of a time when I would have plated my first helping of sausage and felt the need that, I didn't get enough this time.
So you're also
I'm going to go
not
back for round 2.
A 4th of July hot dog eating contest guy? Because we're getting into that season, too.
Hot dogs are just not my thing either. And I'm not necessarily a health nut. There's just like the cased meat that's in a casing is just not for me.
Tubed meat isn't your
Tubed meat
thing.
isn't my thing.
That's fair.
And I think that's okay. I know you. If we had the chat up, I'm sure you get roasted for saying things like that. But yeah, even like the Dime a Dog Night or whatever at the Clippers game, that's fine. I like the vibe of it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that it exists.
The idea of it's better than
like
the actual
I'm just not going to
experience
eat one.
itself.
Yep,
No,
but I'm for everybody doing it.
I do understand. And they, I think when you get to Columbus, a big deal is made of the Dime a Dog Night. It is also with the Audubon Buffet, also with the Memorial Tournament, a Columbus institution. What I would like to do, what I would like to ask in the next segment is, can the Big Ten make what they're doing a big deal? We'll discuss that next at Sports Saturday on The Fan.
The Big Nine was a sad, incomplete place. Enter Ohio State. The rest is history. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
It's Military Appreciation Month at Coughlin Chevrolet. Get double the GM military discount. Lease a new 25 Chevy Trax, $139 a month or $119 for military. New Silverado, just $349 a month or $309 for military. Now at Coughlin Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Military discount for active reserve and retired military personnel and their spouse. 39-month lease with $39.99 due at signing for Trax. 36-month lease with $49.99 due for Silverado plus tax, title, and license. 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over. See dealer for details and 6-25.
When you join the plus side with AAA, that's all you'll have to do. Or you could learn to change your own tire.
Hey fam, what's up? Today I'm gonna teach you to change a flat. Before we start, make sure it's not raining. Or hailing. Or lightning.
Skip the hard work. On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone, and I'm going to let you know that right now, Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings is offering their best discount of the year on all their awesome sheds, pavilions, cabins, and garages from Weaver Barnes. These specials are only good through May, which makes right now the best time to order. Check out Getchy's Amish Country Furnishings' beautiful sales lot in Dublin, where you can see their displays and learn about all the options. There's never been a better time to get that project in motion and save some cash in the process. See all the details at AmishCountryFurnishings.com. Once again, that's AmishCountryFurnishings.com.
This year, we considered hiring an ad agency to help with our marketing.
They pitched impressive visuals and a script that was inspiring.
And exotic animal mascots to help grab your attention.
In the end, we just decided to tell it to you straight. Shelter Insurance has award-winning customer service at affordable rates.
Plus, our local agents are there to help you understand what coverage you need.
To find an agent near you, visit shelterinsurance.com and switch today.
It always seems to happen at the worst time. You're finally in bed after a long, hard day, and then you hear it. You sit up, heart sinking. Is that coming from the ceiling? All of a sudden, it's a middle of the night flashlight hunt to find the leak. But don't worry, Newman Roofing has you covered, literally. With more than 3 decades in the business, we've seen just about everything a storm can throw at a roof. Our teams know how to spot the problem, explain your options, and fix it right the first time, with craftsmanship and care you can feel good about. We're not just here for a quick patch job, and we never will be. We're here to make sure your home stays protected season after season. So when it comes to your roofing, siding, or gutter needs, choose the company you can trust, Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. It's Saturday, which means it's round 3 over at Muirfield Village for the Memorial Tournament. We started this on Thursday with 72 golfers. The cut ended up being 5 over par, and we're left now with a pretty bulky field of 57. The top of your leaderboard reads as follows. The Canadian Nick Taylor and the American Ben Griffin are both tied at 7 under. Akshay Bhatia stands alone in third place at 5 under. Scotty Scheffler follows at 4 under, and then the logjam begins. We will have live leaderboard updates at the bottom of the hour. In Ohio baseball, the Reds are looking for a repeat performance of yesterday's convincing win in Wrigley Field. Nick Lodolo takes the mound. Reds and Cubs at 2:20. Catch that game right here on the Fan. Meanwhile, the Guardians are looking to pick themselves up after yesterday's loss at the hands of the Halos. Their attempt at revenge will begin at 4:10. And Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals tips off at 8 o'clock. Pacers are up 3-2. If the Knicks force a Game 7, it'll be going back to the Garden.
You're locked into a special edition of Fan Sports Saturday live from the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
I would argue that every edition of Fan Sports Saturday is special, but this is extra special. Eric Reeser, Dane Sensenbacher, 10 out of 10 human being in a 10 out of 10 day here at Muirfield Village. And you heard Cole there in the update talking about the field of 72 after cutdown day, that 5 over par. So this is the highest 36-hole cut on the PGA Tour this season. 57 players are out there today. There's only a handful that took that cut at 5 over yesterday. And you'll have the leaderboard update at the bottom of the hour. And really, again, the big hitters don't go till about 3 o'clock. You're looking right now at your leader of Ben Griffin and Nick Taylor, both 7 under. Ben Griffin kind of came back down to earth yesterday. He was even at 72 after karting a 65 on Thursday. It was Nick Taylor that kind of survived best in the elements. Because when it rained like it did, and I'm not a golfer, but I looked out yesterday and I said, that doesn't look fun to play in.
No, it doesn't take much of a good eye for golf to know that one.
And I don't have a great eye. I have 2 and they're subpar.
Mm-hmm. But I know what looks not fun to golf in and what looks fun to golf in.
It was that. This is not.
Today, this to the untrained eye, this looks fun to golf on.
Yeah, and tomorrow is going to be even better of a day, so you're going to get that final round in spectacular conditions. Dane, do you play much golf?
I do. I'm trying to quit.
Why?
Well, not actively. I've just, I've golfed enough, you end up having a love-hate with it. Or I shouldn't even say love-hate. Love or feel like I'm wasting my time.
Okay.
And it's not even because I'm trying to get good. It's just gotten to a point where, life gets busy. Kid number 2 is on the way. It takes too long, man. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So I will absolutely golf, but I don't seek it out. I will always say yes if friends ask me, and I can swing it. No pun intended. If I can make it, but I don't. It was actually not intended. But I don't seek it out. I'm not going to be the one scheduling the round. So, if you want to golf with me, you're going to have to do the work to set it up. I will say yes because I want to hang out for this time.
You're a good friend.
I'm doing it to be a good friend, to fulfill that side.
Yeah.
But I would be perfectly fine if I didn't golf.
I always just politely turn down offers because I'm terrible at it, and I always feel bad if there are people behind me and I'm busy in the weeds or in the rough, as they call it, just trying to swing out of it and be like, well, when are we having fun?
Yeah, when does the fun
When
start?
does the fun begin?
I do have fun. I mean, I've stopped trying. I do. It's fun, but it's quite the commitment of time to take out of your day. Now, I'm now realizing, as I'm looking at the people's faces out here, how silly of a take that is to have, given our current location.
I think so. The really cool thing about the Memorial Tournament is it brings out everybody. Right? You get golfers that can't wait till it turns 50 in March to bring out the clubs, and then you get guys that just like to have a beer and watch golf. That is me. My hand is raised. If you're on the YouTube chat, you can see that. I am absolutely watch golf, drink beer. Less play golf, drink beer. But you have those. You have the weekend warriors, and then you have the guys, like I said, that in March are like, well, it's 50, time to go. And then you have the guys that think they're on the PGA Tour every single weekend in the summer. So
so
for everybody.
The spectrum that I'm on the lower end. I'm not like looking forward to the year to start, but I will also say yes, and I'm good enough to get. I'm not going to embarrass myself at any course, but I'm also not setting any records.
Okay.
I'll be fine in your scramble. I'll be a good time to hang with. And I think that's just where I want to live with golf, and for the foreseeable future.
I've told the same thing to Tyvis because you guys are Buckeye greats. And so people would love to absolutely hand money to charitable causes or whatever to play golf with you. And so I thought that's where we were going with that conversation, was you've just done celebrity golf tournaments.
That is.
As a celebrity.
Maybe I left that out. Yes, that is the main place I golf is in outings.
Okay.
I guess if you want to call it celebrity, but yes.
I'm going to.
I become, I guess, part of the, I golf with the groups that want to golf with me or that pay to golf.
You are a celebrity. Nate says in the YouTube chat, Sanzenbacher was my guy back in the day. We'd be 10 beers deep, screaming Sanzenbacher. Nostalgia.
It's a fun German name to say drunk. I'll give it to him.
You were on that Ohio State team in 2011 when they welcomed Ohio University to town.
We were, or I was, yes, and we did welcome them to town.
I was an OU student, and I remember the lead up to that game was DeVere Posey and his brother Julian Posey getting the opportunity to go up against each other. And that's what I think, for future scheduling purposes, it's in the best interests of everybody to do Ohio versus Ohio State teams. When you're going to get your 9 conference games in the Big Ten, plus the SEC Big Ten Challenge that we'll discuss a little bit later on in the program, you've got 2 cupcakes. And by cupcakes, yes, unfortunately, I mean the Mid-American Conference. Now you've got Eddie George at Bowling Green. You've got players like Will Kastmerick that came from Ohio University. Give Ohio guys the opportunity to play at Ohio Stadium. And so I thought that was a really cool angle that it's going to be a 30-point game, right? And it was, I think, a fairly large margin by which you guys beat Ohio back in 2011. But it was cool to have those different discussion points other than just, well, this team's so much better. It's fly meets windshield. The most entertaining part of that game, though, as an Ohio University student, was watching Rufus come out and attack Brutus pregame. When you were on the sideline, or were you guys out there for that?
We weren't out there yet.
When you saw what had happened, what was your reaction?
It's just a classless act by a tiger. Yeah, by a bobcat.
It's a bobcat, yeah.
Whatever.
You mean whatever?
Yeah, I thought I told you off air. I was thinking that might be why they scheduled OU for a night game this year. It's about the only thing I could think of would be the rematch there.
It's the only thing that makes sense because
I think security needs to be heightened. And for those of you that missed it, yeah, it was a mascot on mascot attack. You had a backstory on it that I had not heard though. So I had not heard the urban legend on it.
The legend goes is the night before OU made the trip up from Athens, they didn't have a Rufus, or they didn't have someone to man the Rufus costume. Someone on the cheerleading squad had a friend that they knew that could don a fluffy outfit or a mascot costume and do whatever needed to be done in the form of Rufus, whatever the hell he does when he's on the sideline.
Everybody's got a friend like that, right?
And so the friend said, I would absolutely do it. In the back of his head thinking, I'm going after Brutus. And so as soon as Ohio State, goes out onto the field, after Ohio and Rufus and the cheerleading squad have made their way, you saw him go after him, I think in the south stands. It might have been the north end zone. And that picture will live on only forever.
Yeah.
And as OU fans, we were thrilled with it. And then the Buckeyes put the boots to the Bobcats on the field. But you had everything else off the field that made it for so much more special of an event.
Well, we'll be happy to
do it again.
Well,
just have round 2 in the middle of the field. That's your 6:30 prelim on Peacock.
I mean, I think they'd be missing an opportunity to not at least do a parody of it in one of the timeouts. We've got time. You've got a 7 p.m. audience. Yeah.
The thing I dislike the most about Peacock is when they go to commercials, it's just elevator music and like their offerings on the streaming service. So that could be something they do. Like, I don't know if you ever remember Super Bowls of yesteryear in the 90s. Like MTV would have WWF, like wrestling matches.
Yeah.
And one year they did The Rock versus Mankind. You remember this, right? Of course you do.
That was the prime.
Where Mankind beat The Rock for the WWF Championship by putting a pallet on him with a forklift. We pinned him 1, 2, 3. Rock couldn't lift his shoulders. You remember this?
Yeah, they should. And so we discovered, my wife and I, in streaming some games, and I don't know if these are like illegal streams, so because I'm not in charge of doing these.
I'm not a cop.
But there are some games that we get access to, whether they're professional.
Some games we get
access to, and whatever league they are. But the stream itself, instead of going to commercial, you pretty much get whatever is on the Jumbotron.
Those are
and
fun.
so it's like you're
NBA
watching the
League
game
Pass
at home.
does that.
So that must be what. But you're getting the game at home. But when you're going to break, it's like you're in the stadium, and what is happening in between is better than any commercial you're going to get. It's wildly entertaining, almost sometimes better than the game action.
That's what I
You're getting kiss cam, you're getting like dancing, you're getting like random people in the stands. You get the halftime show, you get the dunkers, the trampoline dunkers. It's a very surreal thing to be watching from your home because they're talking all as if like they're not. The people are dancing on the screen, no idea they're on TV in somebody's home in Ohio.
So there are 8 games that still don't have kick times or broadcast assignments for Ohio State this upcoming season.
They're probably at noon.
A good portion of them will be. There's probably going to be one more head-scratching game on Peacock. Ohio State, September 13th is at 7 o'clock. It's tough to stay with a straight face, but I'm going to be there for that, wearing the exact same shirt that I'm wearing today, because it's probably like 85 degrees outside.
Yeah, I think we just maybe need to get used to, as with everything else, it feels like with college football, the changes, and there's just a new norm. It used to be, and people are having a hard time with, it used to be the bigger the game, the later it bumped in the day. To the point where if it was a really big game, it was a night game. That doesn't inherently need to be. Now we're in a world where, like, if it's a night game, it's OU. The bigger the game, the closer to noon it gets. So I think we just need to get used to that new setting of noon is our prime time. The night game is for fun halftime skits.
Yes.
The night games, we're just goofing, guys.
That's not how it should be, though. And especially when Ohio State goes to Austin in 2026, they're playing Texas, and that game's happening at night. You're getting the Matthew McConaughey intro on ESPN. All right. Going into the 7:30 kick, and it's going to be how an Ohio State-Texas game should be, like it was in 05 and 06.
I think you ought to just banish "should" from your vocabulary because you can't play that game anymore.
Every month it feels like something in college sports is changing.
It's like it should be like this. I don't guess not.
It's a good point out of you.
I'm sorry. Well,
you don't have to apologize for anything unless you swear on the air. Then that might be.
I'm trying to help you as a fan better navigate the coming years we have by just getting rid of, well, this is the way it should be, because you're just going to be disappointed.
That's the way.
I want you to be optimistic and say, know what? Noon is the new 8. Everybody's saying.
That's what Fox wants you to believe.
I'm buying.
Love this time of day.
Well, I'm it. I mean, there's only, you can fight it or you can enjoy it. Fox bought the rights, and that's great. Noon sounds great.
You had talked before the program about Greg Sankey being the kind of de facto czar of college football, and it was very much tongue-in-cheek. And what the SEC did this week is made you care about what they were discussing. I think, and this is back to that word you don't want me to use, should be doing more of that. We will discuss that next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Introducing Ice Cream Quakes from UDF. Big chunks of your favorite candies and cookies blended with real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. We'll say that again. Real hand-dipped UDF ice cream. Pick your flavor, pick your mix-ins, or try one of our featured recipes. And get an ice cream quake made the way you want. Real creamy, real chunky, real. Ice Cream Quakes, new from United Dairy Farmers.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like early pay. Moving up payday so you could get your money faster. Up to 2 days faster. And there's no cost. It's your money, right? So stop playing the waiting game. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney. Direct deposit and eligibility requirements apply.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a big gulp from Speedway.
And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
We can come the day you call us.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
Brian, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Okay, ask away.
Sometimes when we're talking, I hear a little sparkling sound.
Is it when one of us says, all you have to do is point?
There it is. Did you hear that?
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic? Like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
When it comes to prostate cancer, go to PCF.org for the help you need to navigate this disease and make the right decisions for yourself. Go to PCF.org today.
Austin and Berm are back with a new daily podcast, the ultimate OSU Football Insiders. You know it's refreshing to have some smart people working here from time to time.
The Beat with Austin and Berm on the 10 TV Plus app.
Subscribe today. Get
ECO. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, it's that time of year again.
What time is that?
The time all the air conditioners start breaking down.
Oh, that time. Yep. Every year.
Get ECO.
Like a swarm of bees. They all get together in a coordinated effort.
You mean the Queen air conditioner tells them all to break down?
Nah, they just get tuckered out in the heat, Aaron. Can we handle all the calls?
Sure, we have a swarm of highly trained coolness experts standing by.
Get ECO.
And we have $3.5 million in new service trucks to get them there the day you call.
The same day? Well, what if you don't call until...
We'll come as late as you'll stay up to let us in. Same day.
That explains all the revving engines.
It's like a beehive of activity, Jerry.
Do you know I invented that weird scoopy thing you serve honey with?
You should invent something for ketchup, Jerry. It's America.
Ooh, now that's an idea.
Get ECO.
GetEco.com.
Bands are us when dreams sunk in. Bands are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
Bands are us when dreams sunk in. Bands are us.
Summer 2025 is bringing something wild to your Columbus Zoo. The all-new North America Trek opens this summer, a reimagined zoo region inspired by your national parks. Get ready to get up close with Mexican wolves, black bears, river otters, bald eagles, and more in breathtaking new habitats. Discover local wildlife and conservation in action like never before. Plan your visit today. Visit columbuszoo.org for details.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Looking ahead to sunny skies here today. A little bit of haze around, but otherwise mostly sunny. High temperatures into the upper 60s with a wind out of the northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And then for tonight, mostly clear, cooling down into the mid to upper 40s. But by Sunday, we're back to the sunshine. Highs into the 70s here for the afternoon. And then looking ahead to a big warm-up as highs reach the 80s going into next week. I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, The Fan. 30 hours of live Memorial coverage. Yes, please. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday live at the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
30 hours of the Memorial Tournament live on the Fan, and they gave Dane and the Dummy 3 of them. 1 o'clock is when we are coming off the air, but
Dingus.
All right, Dingus, Dummy, we can workshop, whatever. Do you remember in your formative football programming years when they instilled to you, keep your head on a swivel?
Yeah.
When?
Oh my gosh, it might even from the first time you really did anything.
Okay.
Head on a swivel.
Yeah.
Probably so 6th grade.
Okay. Because during the commercial break, I had to make a pit stop. And I think it was you who told me you got to run. And here on Muirfield Village, you cannot run. Because if you do, you're going to get hit by a golf cart. Because I don't have the spatial awareness when I'm running to keep my head on a swivel. Like, when I brisk walk, it's difficult for me to have to be looking around at all times because there's people all over the place. And there are not only people all over the place, there are golf carts all over the place. I'm not trying to get run over by one. If I could get run over by a golf cart, he would be the one driven by Jack and Barbara.
You almost had another fly meets windshield moment.
It would have
kind of
been
like your
like
Bobcats and the Buckeyes.
Yes, as was in 2011, as what will be on
would have been
September
appropriate
13th.
with that shirt on that you ended up again.
This is my Saturday golf shirt, Dane.
I like that. I like that you have a Saturday golf shirt that you can consistently come back to.
I guess you can't call it a Saturday golf shirt. It's a Saturday beer shirt. Golf is just the area that I'm doing the beer in.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Do you remember when you were a player, the conference, the Big Ten, which I think at the time might have actually had closer to 10 members, doing like spring meetings or having the conference meet to discuss things?
Is this the same time they do like the preseason media stuff?
Different. No,
Different?
So
then no. I would have had no idea what they were doing in spring or what they were talking about. At that time, like the big ideas they had were splitting the conference and calling it something awesome like Leaders and Legends. That's the brainchild that they were coming
days.
up. Those were the good old simple times where those were the worst ideas we had.
Well, what was worse, Legends or Leaders, or bringing Rutgers and Maryland into the fold?
You know, who knows now,
right?
I told you, I'm saying this. The sausage. I've had enough of it. How it's being made. It's just like, okay, whatever you want. All of them at noon, sure. Who we playing?
All the games
Fine.
play them at noon. And
Okay.
I think from a player's standpoint, they don't care. Here, what's the game time? All right, I'm lacing them up. I'm going out there. We're kicking the ball. The coaches, I would imagine if truth serum was injected into them, they'd say, yeah, give me all the kicks at noon. I'm trying to get in the morning. Give me all the kicks noon Saturday, especially for Ohio State, because I can get recruits in. Friday night, they play their games. They come in Saturday morning. We're good to go. And I do think in the next 5 years, you're getting an Ohio State game at the Horseshoe on a Friday night. Like, just they gave you a bunch of money, and you're going to have to take that. It would stink because Ohio's for high school football on Friday nights in the fall. But this is...
There you go with that like should mindset.
I know.
It's not. They might move high school to a different night of the week.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, like do like Tuesday night lights.
You said some bold things on this program. That's
what
another
we're here
one.
for. Yeah.
Tuesday night. No, you can't do Tuesdays because that's Maction, baby. I need October and November. Tuesday nights are for the Mid-American Conference.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if Greg Sankey also said that like we need to stop playing high school football on Friday nights.
Well, he said
and
a lot
everybody
this
was
week.
like, okay.
Because the SEC had their spring meetings, and because ESPN's their partner, they made the biggest deal in the world about it. And Sankey was on one. From Sunday, I think, until Friday, he complained about a different thing each day. And while I don't love the idea that the worldwide leader's telling you about these coaches and athletic directors getting together to meet about things, making it a big deal, I think, is in the best interest of that conference. Greg Sankey serves the athletic directors and the coaches of the teams in the Southeastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
And I look to what, in this footprint, you care about Ohio State football. You care about Big Ten football. Where is the conference in terms of making what you're doing a big deal? You and the SEC, the Big Ten and the SEC, are competing for the exact same thing. Those are the only two entities that really matter in college football. Everybody else is fighting for scraps. So when I see Sankey out there on ESPN on the Paul Feinbaum show every single solitary day complaining about something for the best interest of his conference, I look to Patini and I go, probably should be doing that. There we go again with should.
Yeah, it might not hurt. I don't know how much that real. I mean, a large part of those roles are political.
It's about agenda setting.
It's about absolutely. setting what the agenda is, getting people used to the expectation, throw something out there so you're not completely caught off guard. But I don't know how useful it is. I mean, I think you'll still have those conversations. I don't know what the Big Ten meetings look like and what they discuss. I assume it's the exact same stuff the SEC is going after. They want a position so they get more of their teams into whatever this postseason is.
Yes.
Give themselves the best chance to create the most revenue. But, I mean, I feel like we've dug into the business side of this so often, and it's just like, okay, guys, whatever.
When are we playing? When are we playing a football game? Can that happen sometime, please?
Yeah, figure it out. I guess if you sure, whenever you want to schedule these games, that's fine. Figure out how you want to do the playoff. That works. I guess is it the latest was the SEC wants the 5 automatic and then 11.
So the model that's being discussed, because we're going to 16 in 2026. This will be the second year and the last year of a 12-team college football playoff. But you're going to hear 5 plus 11 a lot. And what that is something the SEC and the Big Ten are both okie dokie with doing, which is automatic bids for the Power 4 conference champions, from the SEC, from the Big Ten, from the ACC, and the Big 12, and then a highest ranked group of 6 champion, because the Pac-12 is still something that exists, and then you have 11 at-large bids. And so what they would like the College Football Playoff Committee to do is they'll straight seed them this year. So if the College Football Playoff Committee says Ohio State's 1, they'll go 1 through 12, and then everybody from that gets in. And if they have the highest ranked group of 6, they'll be in there somewhere too. So if you're 12, you still might get jumped. That gets too much in the weeds with it, but 5 plus 11 feels like the model they're going to. And even I can do basic math. That's 16. So in 2026, you're getting that with the 5 auto bids and then the 11 at-large bids. And then likely after that, you're going to get what is looking like a 4-4-2-2-1-3 model.
Eric, we don't have time.
I need your head to spin back around to me, Dane, because that means 4 automatic bids for the Big Ten, 4 automatic bids for the SEC, and then table scraps for everybody. And that one does scream to me Notre Dame, because remember, they're by themselves, but they want to be treated.
Special.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the whole statement.
All you
they're so special.
They're a college football semifinalist.
Yeah, they're all right.
A runner-up in the national championship.
They're hanging in there.
They're doing okie dokie.
They're doing okie dokie. Yeah. So with all that, I know that the SEC and Big Ten are doing their job to make sure they get as many of their teams in as possible.
Means more money for the conference total.
Yeah, and maybe that's just where we're at with a league, I guess, quote unquote, that doesn't really have a head of it that is looking out for the health of the sport as a whole. And by sport, I mean the college football sport.
They all say that they're looking out for the good of it.
I don't know that you could make that argument. You're looking out for the good of your conference, but that's what your job is. If you're getting paid to do a thing, you're doing your job. If you are actively trying to look out for the success of your company, in these cases, it's the Big Ten and the SEC. Why I think the more you go into even like a 5-11 model is you're going to alienate these small schools. And these are all the schools that the complaint was they didn't deserve a chance at the national championship. I think the more you alienate those schools and give them no chance into participating in this thing, you've just shrunk the size of the pool of what is college football, and you've just created a smaller league. And I think as a whole, while it could be great for Ohio State, it'll be great for the big name. Ohio State will be protected in anything that happens.
Yeah, they benefit.
So that's just goes without being said. Yeah. You're going to be fine regardless. But if you're looking at what college football, what makes it special over the NFL is that it has such a wide reach. So yes, even if like a Boise State has a path in to get in, and even if you're like, well, they haven't beat anybody, if they have a path in, now you've given that entire whatever the conference is, Mountain West, whatever the Pac-12 ends up being, you've given a path in, and that path breeds programs in those conferences that still have something to play for. So you have strength of the sport as a whole, and I think that is overall what you want to be going for. But there's just not like It's usually the NCAA. It doesn't seem like there's a place right now that somebody's looking at the big picture and saying, how do we make sure that college football stays good? You have people that make sure the SEC stays strong and the Big Ten stays strong, and that's kind of where we are.
Yeah.
All that to say, I don't like the sausage, Eric.
Well,
it's fine, but it's where we are. It's just not the interesting part to me.
And where we are right now is going to be, I think, wildly different this time next year with how quickly and how rapidly things change.
Seems like it.
Zach asks in the YouTube chat, why is Notre Dame getting money for the CFP? Every other team has to split it up in the conference, but Notre Dame gets all of it. You should have to be in a conference to make the college football playoff. If you feel similarly, I'll tell you why the Big Ten and the ACC might be telling Notre Dame to kick rocks. That's next. Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Feeling stressed or overwhelmed? Not sure how to get the mental health help you need? We've got your back. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442. We'll help you figure out what mental health benefits may be in your health plan. No more confusion, just the support you deserve. Call the Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office at 855-438-6442.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell air conditioners instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
97.1 The Fan Memorial Leaderboard Update.
And this leaderboard update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates lower than the national average, plus a special rate on balance transfers with a Visa Platinum or Visa with Rewards credit card. The third round of the Memorial Tournament is just getting underway at Jack's Place. Some more groups getting out on the course now. Stop me if you've heard this before. Scotty Scheffler is in the mix heading into the weekend. He's 3 shots back at 4 under after a pair of 70s in the first 2 rounds. He spoke yesterday on the condition of the course and the importance of avoiding the rough.
The golf course is playing really long. It's very challenging. When the rough gets this wet, anytime you hit in the rough, the lies are going to be really bad, and it's going to be really challenging. So it's definitely important to keep the ball in play and try and stay dry.
He begins his third round today at 2:59 with Ashke Batia, who sits 2 back at 5 under. Nick Taylor and Ben Griffin are your leaders, and they don't tee off till 3:10 this afternoon.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday, live from the Memorial.
Presented by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Back here outside the Champions Pavilion at Muirfield Village, Eric Reeser, Dane Sanzenbacher, rolling until 1 o'clock this afternoon. Very spirited discussion about the future of college football, the sport that we all know and love.
We used to know.
I guess you kind of know it, and then in a week it changes.
You think you know somebody,
and you just don't.
You don't really know somebody.
Yeah, and what we're talking with Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, and Tony Petitti, who are really going to be the 2 main drivers for any change that happens in the sport. One of the things that was discussed down in Destin this week was to do a Big Ten SEC schedule, or an SEC challenge, similar to what you have with basketball challenges, to where every year you have a different Big Ten school play a different SEC school. They do a home and home. So like what you would get with Ohio State and Texas, they make that a thing from here on out. With the SEC, one of their biggest complaints was they don't play 9 conference games. They just do 8. And for the SEC, they're saying, well, if ESPN gives us more money, sure, we'll do 9 conference games. Well, quicker than you can say, here's more money, they're going to add another conference game to the SEC schedule in the upcoming seasons. And this, along with a scheduling agreement with the Big Ten, gives you 2 more games to do your cupcakes. So for Alabama, they can play, or Oklahoma can play Tulsa on that schedule. What that leaves out, in my opinion, is Notre Dame. Because if you're the Big Ten, or if you're the SEC, and you're playing one school from the other conference, and you've got your 9 conference games, your 2 cupcakes, then you're feeling like whatever we do, if we go 9-3, or if we go 10-2, that's strong enough to make our case for the college football playoff. We're good without you, Notre Dame. And I do think, and I don't think USC will ever say this, but when they were approached by the Irish to do a similar scheduling agreement, like the one that they signed with Clemson for the next 10 years, we're going to play a game, I think SC was not interested in doing that. And I think you can extrapolate that to the other teams in the Big Ten. USC in the Big Ten is just going to be wild forever. And the other teams in the SEC, they're like, no, we're good for that. And also, 10 years, man, to schedule something with how quickly things are changing is ambitious.
I think, so we started talking about this. We had somebody chime into the chat.
About why Notre Dame's getting money for the college football playoff.
About how they're able to do it. And it's a great question. It's one I've asked too. I don't think we have a good answer. I guess the answer is that they have NBC. They have their own money. They
Strong brand.
Strong brand. It still, to me, doesn't seem like it's enough to be the only one that could pull it off. But I'm apparently wrong, because if you could do it, other people would be trying to do it.
Right.
But I don't know. All of this is great, but until you, and I mean you, college football, is talking about getting something as close to an NFL model of scheduling in making smaller divisions and making all the games competitive, until you're doing that, you're just not being serious. So all of the back and forth about like what we can do with non-conference, it's not basketball. The challenge, the Big Ten, SEC, it works in basketball because the point of college basketball is building a resume the best you can to hopefully get seeded into a tournament. That's not how football, I think, works on any level. It just doesn't make sense that way. So your number behind your name, your record, has to be the only thing that really matters. And in order to have that be the only thing that matters, you have to build parity the best you can. I am not saying I'm advocating for that. I don't even think they can do it. But I think it's always going to be kind of talking in circles of like, well, what if we do this? You're not being serious about it. Or you're being too serious about trying to make this a fair playing field when it's not built to be that.
And I don't know if
it will
has
ever
it ever?
No, it never has been. That's why it's such a shock for people. Like, college football has never been, it's wildly entertaining. It builds passion from the fan bases. You can buy into it much more than you can on any NFL team. But it's never been built to be this serious thing of, like, crowning a Super Bowl champion. And the more these conferences get together, like, well, we'll do this, we'll do that. That's why it's just like, that's fine, but you're not being serious. You're not trying to make it a league of parity, fairness to actually find the best team. It's always going to be skewed. We sit pretty here in Columbus.
Yes.
It's going to be skewed towards us.
It's always going to.
But it's never going to be fair. So it's like, you guys are bending over backward to trying to make it fair. It's just not. So see you at noon on Saturdays, and we'll talk then.
And the thing that you had said this in the break, and it struck me.
I know it's cynical. YouTube chat. I get it.
You don't think about it like from a standpoint of these are still universities. They're going to require kids to go to classes.
Don't take me down that path.
We're not doing
Eric.
that.
Don't go there. It's not good. It's not good radio to go there.
Why not? You were in that. You were in the seat of a student athlete.
I will say that is definitely forms. Everybody looks at it from their own position. It forms my view of it. Of the more these guys in these conferences get together and talk, the more I'm just like, you guys aren't being serious. It's like what you're talking about is the most ridiculous thing. It's like, stop trying to make it so. You're taking yourselves too seriously because you can shoot holes in whatever you're trying to do. It's like all of this, and the requirement to play in this league is is going to class on Tuesday.
GPA or
like, what are you even talking about?
Any of those things is something.
College. It was fine when it was kind of silly. It was fine when it's like, yes, but then too much money is in it now, so I guess they got to have these conferences and like, well, we'll add this and we'll add these games and we'll add this to our conference. It's a little tiring. So, Eric, I choose how I'm going to look at it, in which way I can best enjoy it. And it is not living in the world of they should be doing this or Tony Petitti should be talking more. Perhaps he should. But I don't even know what they're trying to get to. If they're trying to get to an end of we want a competitive league that is parity, the NFL has already spent billions and built that. It's not that complicated.
There is no end. There is just more.
There's just more.
There is just more. And more, in this case, will not be a good thing. That's next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
Dude, I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a big gulp from Speedway.
Exactly. Song of the summer. Here comes the drop. Crisp, fruity flavors like the limited time Mountain Dew Pitch Black. And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a summer hit.
I'm not sure you know how songs work.
The convenience stores of Speedway. Hold on. You gotta hear how it ends. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone,
reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear.
Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app.
Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone.
Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
Legend has it, underneath the NJM insurance offices lies a mysterious room of long-forgotten, moldy mascot memorabilia. Often pitched by ad agencies, always rejected by NJM. Is it real? We may never know. But what is real is NJM's dedication to doing what's right for their customers. Astoundingly, they're proud to put policyholders first. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Learn more at njm.com.
Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
The Buckeyes are national champions. And you listen to it all right here on The Fan. And next year when they do it again, it'll be here on The Fan. And the year after that, well, you know the drill. Always and forever, your home of the Buckeyes. The Fan.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
When you're a AAA member, we do the hard stuff for you. So picture this. You're taking a road trip through the mountains at night, and you run out of gas. Do you, A, call AAA, or B, walk 29 miles to the nearest gas station in the pouring rain?
A?
How about this? You need auto insurance. You could A, pick AAA to find the best coverage for you, or B, spend so much time researching insurance jargon that you might as well have gotten a law degree.
Yeah, I'm going with A.
Right. Okay, you're booking a vacation. You can A, have AAA plan it for you, or B, stress so hard about layovers and getting to your cruise that you need a vacation from booking your vacation.
That's easy. A, AAA.
On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Federal Elite Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
You're locked into a special edition of Fan Sports Saturday live from the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain Heating and Cooling, and sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Now you can say you got a gaggle of golfers out there. There's about a third of the field that is begun their third round, moving day here at Jack's Place. Eric Reeser, Dane Sanzenbacher. We're outside the Champions Pavilion. If you are on your way up to Muirfield Village, come by, say hi, watch Dane eat a pear, and then go watch golf. Like, what better way to spend your Saturday? Because the sun's out. Mm-hmm. It's warming up out here. This is I said 10 out of 10 day at the start of this. This is like 8, 9 out of 10. I think tomorrow at this time you're going to get the full 10 out of 10.
It's creeping up to a 10. It was a little chilly earlier.
A little bit.
But it's perfect pear weather now.
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you for your service.
You're
I think
welcome.
we just flip to that now, which is good. Following us, you'll have Reds baseball on the Fan. They're playing the Chicago Cubs, the team that Dane did not want to choose.
Oh, my crosstown rivals?
Your crosstown rivals.
Yeah.
As if you missed it earlier in the show, Dane was going to pick a Premier League club, picked Everton, and then somehow it became from Everton, I'm not going to be a fan of them. No, I'm going to be a fan of the Chicago White Sox.
I'm a Southside Sox guy.
It just, the most ridiculous kind of trail that you went on, but it has led us here to you being a fan of...
I have a hat, and I subscribe to the MLB.
You gave someone
access.
money to watch Chicago White Sox baseball.
Not only, no, worse than that. Just to listen.
Just to listen.
I can't even get the broadcast. I wasn't going to pay the full $20. No, it's $3.99, and I can listen to the hometown broadcast on the radio. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
4:05, White Sox
We're
are taking
getting...
on the Orioles. I think I mentioned Reds Cubs, 2:20 first pitch there, but we'll have the coverage for you right here on the Fan. At about 1:50 today, the Cleveland Guardians are hosting the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles. 4:10 the start for that game 2. You had Los Angeles take game 1. Mike Trout return. He had a bruise on his knee. And so he was on the injured list for that. He had a hit last night against the Cleveland Guardians, who, Dane, I usually say it takes me till about Memorial Day weekend before I can decide if my team is good or not.
Okay.
I think the Guardians are okay.
You think they're all right?
Yeah, okay. They're 7 back of the Tigers for the top spot in the AL Central, and it doesn't matter because it's May. So maybe I should wait till the 4th of July before I give a how good is my team.
Is my team in the AL Central?
Yes.
Okay. Where are we at?
Though I love this weed.
We're way down there.
The Chicago White Sox are 18-39, or 19 and a half games back of the Motor City Kitties.
All right.
So there's time.
We've won 18, though.
You've won 18 games.
I've listened to 3 of those wins.
What do you do when you're listening to a baseball game?
Yeah, lately it's been mulch.
Okay.
Or general yard things, or driving. I'm not just sitting there focusing on the game and picturing it in my head. Although I would. Because fans You know us fans, we do crazy stuff for our teams.
Us White Sox fans.
Yeah. You know what it's like to be a fan.
It's good, though, now we have 2 White Sox fans on the station, so.
Yeah. Who's the other?
The Common Man. Oh, we have 3. Rothman and the Common Man are White Sox fans. Dylan Tyre?
Yeah.
Is a White Sox fan.
Yeah.
Coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah. Many people are saying.
You guys can do it.
Oh, the Pope.
The Pope.
5.
Things are really looking up for you guys.
I know he's not on our station,
it's
but
the Pope
we
this
tried
year.
to get him on.
It's the World Series next year. That's the trajectory.
Just know that I started in 25.
You
were
were not
bleak.
ever going to be called a bandwagon Chicago White Sox fan.
Nope.
As of right now, there are 68 teams that make the NCAA tournament.
Okay.
They'd like to make it 72 or 76 by 2026.
Yeah. These are buffet people.
Yes,
they can't get enough.
More.
These more.
It.
Oh, you 64 sounds. Nah, we can get to 80 easy.
It does benefit Ohio State, I think, if you have 76 teams.
Okay.
At least recently.
Sure.
Wouldn't you want to see your alma mater in the dance?
Yes, I would. I guess.
But
I would more like to see them in. Not by hollowing out the weight and say it's getting
because when you do
stronger.
have 76, then it becomes who's left? We have 64 deserving teams traditionally, and then you've got who else is available. Yeah, and I don't ever think Ohio State should be good with we're available. Hey, we could play that weekend.
I think it's a great idea.
Yes? Oh, you love it?
No, yes. Just because. That's the approach I think I'm going to take to the rest of the decision making that comes.
Whatever happens, you're just good with it.
That comes out of people trying to make sense of the college landscape. It's more, and I think it's an easier place to be to say, I think that's a great idea.
I've used the analogy several times. Were you a Goosebumps fan?
Yeah.
Did you read those books?
Yeah.
Remember the book The Blob That Ate Everything? I'm trying to think which book. That might have been the 6th book in the series. But R.L. Stein, Columbus guy, Ohio State guy. You and him have that in common. Buckeyes. But the blob that eats everything is literally college sports.
Yep.
And college football, college basketball, they want everything. Doesn't matter if you're a car, you're a light post, you're a person, you're a dog. You're going to get consumed by this. And as fans, we will consume it. So that's where you justify the more. So you're going to watch. And someone was trying to say the other day that the 22 million that tuned in for Ohio State, Notre Dame in the College Football National Championship game, while it was a low rating, they did 22 million on a Monday night without Imagine Dragons.
You know what? But I don't think...
Imagine if they had them.
Imagine that.
I can do that too.
You're really good.
Thank you.
I think I'm rubbing off on you.
Well.
Yeah, well, I think... I don't know. So I think we're at a weird point in... The attention on the sport is high. I think that sports betting, honestly, has had a huge part of that. I think that being able, a lot of this, there's interest from people who are not even interested in really the game, but maybe all the things surrounding. But I also think, while the attention is high, if you polled people, it would be your overall approval rating would be very low. So it's a very weird time that, the networks looking at the ratings were well, if you guys are so mad, why are you watching? Right. And everybody that calls in or chats with us is no, I don't like this at all. This is how it should be. This is how it would be. But at the end of the day, what talks is that number, that 22 million without Imagine Dragons. And that's going to sell a lot of ad space, and that's a lot of revenue for the TV folks, and that trickles down to the universities that making their decisions based on said revenue.
And that was the 12-teamer. Imagine what they'll do with 16 teams.
It might just drive you to be a White Sox fan.
Nothing would ever do that.
Well,
not for me.
It has for me.
So college football.
That's how detached
Greg
I've been.
Sankey and Tony Petiti made Dane Senzenbacher
a White
Sox
Sox fan. You know what? I'm going to the MLB.
That's the level of insanity that we've reached in college athletics, where now
I just needed the old times.
A Toledo native that could have been a Detroit Tigers fan decided, no thanks, I'm going to the South Side.
Well, I told you why I picked that, but it was more than going to the MLB is just a simpler time where they're just out there just batting the ball around, playing 180 games a year, and it was simpler. We weren't trying to do too much. That's how they used to do it. I'm going to the MLB. You guys figure out college. I'm just going to watch baseball.
Boy, them sure were the days. The Bengals and Trey Hendrickson are playing chicken. Will any of it matter on September 7th? That's next. Sports Saturday on The Fan.
Matty Ice has a large tattoo on his calf of LeBron eating a lion. I have nothing else to say. Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Hi, this is Bob Masheter from Dick Masheter Ford. Thank you to all of Central Ohio as we head towards 60 years of doing business in the Buckeye State. Dad opened up in 1967 simply trying to offer a better way to buy a car, and we've been working ever since to serve our neighbors. We have served you through wars, recessions, and even a Chinese virus. Here is to serving you and your kids and your grandkids for the next 60 years, except on Sundays when we're closed, because it's the right thing to do. Still 24/7 at masheterford.net. Thanks.
Tired of being undervalued? Join 9 Trees and get what you deserve. At 9 Trees, we don't just hire hardscapers. We build a team of skilled pros who take pride in their craft and get rewarded for it. Top pay that beats what you're making now, we guarantee it. Performance bonuses, modern equipment and the tools you need, medical benefits and retirement accounts. You've got the skills, we've got the respect, and the paycheck to match. Make the move. Apply today at 9treeslc.com or call 614-921-9595.
This is This Date in Reds Baseball with team historian Greg Rhodes.
If you ever had a fantasy about playing Major League Baseball, it may well have included a scene in which you hit a home run in your very first at-bat. Well, this highly unlikely scenario actually did happen to a native Cincinnatian on this date, May 31st, 1942. 20-year-old Clyde Vollmer, playing for his hometown Reds at Crosley Field, homered in his very first at-bat. And to make this magical moment even more unlikely, he did it on the very first pitch thrown to him, the only Red to ever do that. It was the only homer Vollmer hit in 1942, and it was 5 years before he hit his second home run. But it surely couldn't have matched that first one. This May 31st, 1942, this date in Reds baseball.
This Date in Reds Baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. It's Saturday, which means it's round 3 over at Muirfield Village for the Memorial Tournament. We started this on Thursday with 72 golfers. The cut ended up being 5 over par, and we're left now with a pretty bulky field of 57. The top of your leaderboard reads as follows. The Canadian Nick Taylor and the American Ben Griffin are both tied at 7 under. Akshay Bhatia stands alone in third place at 5 under. Scotty Scheffler follows at 4 under, and then the logjam begins. We will have live leaderboard updates at the bottom of the hour. In Ohio baseball, the Reds are looking for a repeat performance of yesterday's convincing win in Wrigley Field. Nick Lodolo takes the mound. Reds and Cubs at 2:20. Catch that game right here on The Fan. Meanwhile, the Guardians are looking to pick themselves up after yesterday's loss at the hands of the Halos. Their attempt at revenge will begin at 4:10. And Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals tips off at 8 o'clock. Pacers are up 3-2. If the Knicks force a Game 7, it'll be going back to the Garden.
30 hours of live Memorial coverage. Yes, please. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday live at the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
It took me 2 hours into the program to realize this, that Sanzenbacher's super German, and you don't want the Autobahn buffet at Schmidt's Sausage House. Revoke your Deutsch card.
Well, I just pulled back from
Dane and the dummy here outside the Champions Pavilion. Third round of the Memorial Tournament continues at Jack's Place.
It was going to be along the lines of explaining many ways in which, because it's an old school German name, it's not aged well. So, yeah, I don't know.
I like to keep you on your toes. So I'm glad I can do that.
I'm just fine with a normal amount. See, I can't even say that because that's going to be cut into a clip.
I'm really fishing for the promo here.
It's hard to have sausage discussion when you know that everything you say can and will be used against you in a promo.
You're lucky Bobby Carpenter's not here.
Yeah, so I just don't want second helpings of sausage. That can be it. Is that good enough?
No, that works. We got a gaggle of golfers out on the course right now. As you heard Cole there in the update, the heavy hitters don't go until right around 3 o'clock this afternoon. So we're a couple minutes past noon here. You got Maverick McNeely, Sam Stevens, Tommy Fleetwood just went off, but kind of give you a sense of where they're all at +3 for the tournament. Your leaders again, Taylor and Griffin at 7 under. You had Bhatia at 5 under. Scheffler's 3 back of the lead at 4 under, but you're going to see Scheffler and Bhatia 259. Taylor and Griffin at 310. Spieth, Shane Lowry kind of around 245 today, but by the time they get out on the course, things will have looked to dry up. The sun's going to be out. It's going to be much, much warmer than it is at noon, and so for them, for this, looks to be actually a 10 out of 10 weekend.
Are you going to follow anybody around when we're done here?
Not today. Tomorrow I will be.
Who are you looking forward to? Who excites you about this top group?
I want to see.
Can't pick Scotty.
Okay. Give me Shane Lowry and Sam Burns.
Okay.
I think they'd be a fun group to follow. Because you're right in that if you follow Scotty, you're with thousands of other people. And I remember coming here as a kid, trying to follow Tiger. And while it was awesome to watch that because, oh my gosh, here's the athlete of a generation, thousands of people couldn't really see anything.
Uh-huh.
As I'm sure you've noticed, I'm not the tallest person in the world. Backtrack 20 years, I was also not very tall. So I can't be in the back of people and nudge my way forward.
You have a bigger presence, though.
Well, I'd like to think so. Maybe that's why I do so well.
You carry yourself bigger.
I'd like to think so.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, I think it's going to shape up to be fun regardless because whenever you have a lurking Scotty, it makes for good entertaining golf. And with a few guys at the top that have had recent success, but you don't know how comfortable they are hanging there.
Mm-hmm. Akshay Bhatia?
Bhatia. Tell me about him. I don't know much about him. My brother was saying he has a very interesting story of how he's kind of gained success.
You're going to have to ask your brother that story because I don't know the story.
Oh.
I can tell you that he is right now 5 under and teeing off at 259 today.
Okay.
I could Wikipedia it, and we could just read that. Just different golf. Here's what would be a fun segment. We'll do it at 1 o'clock. We'll just randomly give me a golfer's name. We'll just read his Wikipedia.
Just the whole thing?
We'll do that at 1 o'clock, and you'll only be able to see it on YouTube, and maybe we'll podcast it.
Okay.
But for right now, let's do some NFL talk.
We can talk.
Would that interest you? Does
sure.
a player
want to do contact sports?
Does a player threatening to hold out in May do anything for you?
Yeah. I like it. I like it.
You now?
Yeah, I love the conflict between player and
so that's what we're getting with Trey Hendrickson and the Cincinnati Bengals, as he's saying, and he's said a couple times that without a new contract, because he's on the final year of his deal, I'm not going to show up for the Bengals this year.
Love it.
How many times do you remember in your career in the NFL did a player say that, and then all of a sudden week 1, there they are in a uniform? Because when the Bengals play the Browns on September 7th, I fully expect Trey Hendrickson to be on the Bengals sideline, lining up to sack, what I'm hoping is Shedeur Sanders.
I don't think we had any high-profile...
Nothing like that?
Holdouts.
I mean, he's NFL sack leader, wants to get paid like Max Crosby.
No, I mean, granted, the year I came in was coming right off the lockout. I had to wait to go to camp because everybody was holding out.
That must have been wild.
Yeah, it was a weird time. But no, we didn't have an individual that was doing that. But that said, and in this scenario too, I don't really blame him. And I'm usually pro player on this, and this is part I could get it if you're a Bengals fan. You're just like, well, come on, just get out there and play. But at his point in his career,
31.
this is the one. I mean, you're looking at, and it's weird to look at it that way, but this is a weird profession. This is a huge contract for you that you need to like. These are your career is about to be over soon, and so your last contract, whether you're squabbling over millions, is a big deal. You know, like for you and your family, that sets you up. You're going to live on this, so you need to capitalize on this. So, like, while you would love to stay in Cincinnati, I mean, I typically, unless guys are just handling it crazy, and it doesn't seem like he's handled it too poorly. Get what you're worth while you can. I mean, you don't owe them anything.
No, I mean, at this point, they need him.
And you would think
slightly more.
It's a surprising one because you think he is produced in a way that usually doesn't get to this point.
Yeah.
And you would think, but from what I understand, and knowing a little the Bengals, there's only so much to go around. They paid
the pie analogy.
They actually, we should put the pie analogy in the same area as the should comments and just get rid of it because there is always pie.
Whoa,
is what I'm finding.
You're right.
Look at
that analogy needs to stay.
Right.
Because I don't think anything frustrates Cincinnati Bengals fans more, and as a Browns fan, that entertains me.
Okay, from that angle. Then no, it's got to go.
From recently, that's been a very competent organization, and I've got my clown show up 71 that is not.
Yeah, no. Yes.
But give me more pie analogies because when I hear Mike Brown say it, and then when you hear Katie Blackburn tell Trey that he just needs to be happy with whatever they offer him, it's very much you're a millionaire trying to tell me that. Like, talk about being disconnected from reality.
Yeah, that's why I'm in. He should try to get what he needs, and they will say from their side.
Yes.
They'll say, I'm not arguing for the pie, the pie argument. But they're saying a lot of the pie was given to the offense.
Yeah.
A lot of the pie was given to our quarterback and wide receivers.
Some would say, yeah.
And we're sorry, we didn't save enough pie for you, even though you've produced.
Hope you like strudel.
You produced enough to deserve a slice, probably a big slice. We didn't save enough for you.
Yeah.
So we drafted a kid that can live with less pie because we don't need to feed him as much right now. That could possibly replace you. I wouldn't buy that if I'm him, and I would be upset about it. I think it's kind of I'm not sure how much that argument holds water. I think if they could pay him, if they really wanted to, you can find it.
I agree.
If you wanted to, you can find it.
That's what makes that pie analogy so much more frustrating because it does feel like they're talking down to people. We understand how much money, and that money keeps going up. They're talking about the blob that ate everything. That's the NFL, where they have an announcement about their schedule announcement they want you to give a rip about because they want to consume all of it.
Yep.
Oh, the NBA had Christmas Day. Not so fast, my friend. We are now taking your holidays. Sorry, Lord. Christmas is ours.
Yeah. Then let's do 3 days on it.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah, or 3 games.
And we'll also have a contract with our TV partners that maybe we can flex this game into a situation where now we're taking something else, like if we feel like it.
Yeah. So do I I'm on Hendrickson's team here. I think if you're going to it's an important point in your career. You're not going to get another chance at this contract.
Yep.
Even if you are producing at that level, it just can only last for so long, so you got to do it. But on the same token, it's messed up that the Bengals would look at it this way, but I know that they do, and organizations do. They're well aware of his age. It's about, like, if we're not paying you for what we've done. We're paying for what we think you can do. And even if you had a great year, how many years are you going to be able to do that?
And the thing with it, that you talk about Shamar Stewart, them drafting his replacement, they haven't signed him either. So they began OTAs without their first-round draft pick and without the sack leader in the NFL.
I'll figure it out.
That's a defense that I keep hearing from people, well, their defense was really bad and they had the NFL sack leader. I just go to, imagine if they didn't have him. They're worse. Like, can you get much worse than they were defensively last year? I don't know. And maybe that's to the point why they signed, Jamar to the big contract. That's why they gave T the bunch of money. So they just outscore everybody 45-10 in a game. Or I guess not 45-10, but like 45-44. Still wins you ball games. It doesn't look pretty if you're a fan of defense, but if you're what the NFL thinks and more people tuning in for offense, love it.
I'm too distracted by thinking about your Browns now to like nitpick the Bengals.
Would you like to go there? Because they began.
You brought it up, and it's just been like it's a seed in my head since you're like.
So why I said what I said, because I think if you are to believe how well it's gone for Shedeur Sanders up in Cleveland, he was a 5th-round pick. I, as a Browns fan, I'm not interested in seeing Kenny Pickett. I'm not interested in seeing Joe Flacco. You have the Cincinnati Bengals week 1.
Terry Bradshaw loves Kenny Pickett.
Sure. If you're going to start somebody week 1 against the Bengals, start one of the rookies. Start Shedeur, start Dylan Gabriel. If they're both performing well enough to where you want to see what you have with them, give them the week 1 start. You're going to be a bad football team anyway. Because if Joe Flacco, in my opinion, starts a single solitary game for the Cleveland Browns this season, barring catastrophic injury to the 3 that we just mentioned, I don't think you can have Andrew Berry in charge of the Browns' 2 first-round draft picks next year. I think that whole thing needs to get washed. So you bring in somebody else that can actually draft talent you can develop, because so far he has not picked well at all when they've had first-round picks, or when they've had really any draft picks that he has picked, they have not produced. So that's why I say, what the hell? Start Sanders.
I'm with you, and the more space we've had between the draft and now, it seemed crazy to take their quarterback situation seems wild. But in a league where we've seen if there's one thing you can really bank on for success is having a solid quarterback, and if you can get one young and cheap on their rookie deal, it is like the secret sauce.
Right.
I almost left I started to think I wonder why more people don't just, if you're in need of a quarterback, spend on a couple.
Right?
So, which I thought was the craziest Brown move. I'm like, that's actually defensible.
They don't have money to pay anybody else because they're giving Watson a ton of money, and he's not doing anything but rehabbing and posting on Instagram.
So if we need a quarterback, and the odds of finding one in the draft are X, okay, we just doubled our odds that maybe it's Gabriel, maybe it's Shedeur, but we'll get to whatever. We'll get them both.
The owner of the team who signs the checks told you everything that you needed to know about this Browns season was the start of a rebuild. They don't need to be good right now, the Cleveland Browns do. They need to be good once that new stadium opens in Brook Park. They need to be open once they're starting to sell season tickets to that. They don't need to be good right now, at least from the owner's perspective. Now, I know if you're a Browns fan, you're sitting there, you're banging your head against the steering wheel because, well, then what the heck did we, extend Myles Garrett for? I don't really have an answer for you there, because if you're doing a true rebuild, you are not giving Myles Garrett the deal that you gave him. You're finding a partner to trade him to. But this is the Cleveland Browns, and so often do they do one thing and they say the other thing, and then they do the other thing from which they did the other thing that they said they weren't going to do.
They're the best.
It's a circus that just keeps on delivering. That's a content machine, but it's catastrophic incompetence.
Yeah. The Browns make me happy, though. I'm not a Browns fan,
I know.
But what they do makes me happy.
The smile on your face is 10 miles.
I just like how they operate. I like the way they do business.
I bet you and many others do, too.
It's wildly entertaining. It keeps you on your toes. Well, you guys keep on showing up and wearing dog hats.
Keep barking. Keep barking right here on the Fan, as we are your Columbus home for the Cleveland Browns this season. You had mentioned Terry Bradshaw. He had some comments about who could be the next quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll share those with you next. Sports Saturday on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help Billy.
Hi, I'm Billy Hatcher, a former professional baseball player, and I'm a patient at Tri-State Men's Health. Before I started the treatment, it was like my body was sore all the time, and I was feeling very, very sluggish. One day, I would be full of energy, and the next day it was like, where did all my energy go? And since I've started, my body hasn't felt this good in a long time. I feel like, I'm not 21 to 25 again. It's just been great. I feel very, very comfortable coming here. When you have the energy, it's amazing. You get to do so many other things that you couldn't do prior to that. If you're tired of hurting in the mornings, you want to improve your health, you want to feel better, give a call to Tri-State Men's Health. I promise you, you will feel better.
Thanks, Billy. It's true. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore his seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Huntington is banking that just clicks. Like asterisk-free checking. An account that's filled with features, but no monthly maintenance fee, no matter what. Because it's your money, right? So we think you should keep it. It's just one more way we're looking out for people every day. Is your bank looking out for you? Maybe it's time to switch. Visit your neighborhood Huntington branch or make the switch at huntington.com/yourmoney.
When you're starting a home improvement project, a few big questions always come up. Who can I trust? Will they be there if something goes wrong? And lastly, how much is this going to cost me? At Newman Roofing, we've been answering those questions for over 30 years. As a family-owned and operated company that takes pride in every aspect of the job, with family members involved in each department of the company, we treat your home like it's our own. That means clear communication, no shortcuts, and a white glove experience from start to finish. And when it comes to cost, we get it. That's why we offer flexible financing options so you can get the quality your home needs at a price that works for your budget. Don't just take our word for it. With over 700 five-star reviews on Google, families across Central Ohio are sharing their Newman Roofing experience. For roofing, siding, and gutter solutions built around family, call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
It's been a great run. Care Heating and Cooling has achieved goals I could only imagine 30 years ago. But now it's time for the next generation to take over. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, I remember you saying that a family business should reflect family values, that a customer deserves to be treated with kindness and compassion.
And those values will never change. The reputation you built for being fair and honest is our greatest asset.
In fact, in 2024, Care was awarded a BBB Torch Award for Ethics and named the Lennox Partner of the Year.
You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind. It's an honor to continue serving Central Ohio as a locally owned, family-run business.
So, whether you need a tune-up, repair, or just honest advice, Care is here for you.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
Dude, I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a big gulp from Speedway.
Exactly. Song of the summer. Here comes the drop. Crisp, fruity flavors like the limited time Mountain Dew Pitch Black. And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a summer hit.
I'm not sure you know how songs work.
The convenience stores of Speedway. Hold on. You gotta hear how it ends. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
We've discovered the perfect morning ritual, the 2 for $6 breakfast sandwich deal at Tim Hortons. Every sandwich is made to order with a freshly cracked egg and melty cheese, just the way breakfast should be. Choose between savory sausage or hickory smoked bacon, served on a toasted English muffin or flaky biscuit. There's no wrong way to mix and match this tasty deal. 2 breakfast sandwiches, just $6. Perfect. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, single item at regular menu price. Modifications and tax extra. Exclusions and additional terms apply.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
We're looking ahead to mostly sunny skies here today. Highs into the upper 60s, so still cool and breezy with winds out the northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Then tonight, mostly clear, cooling down to the upper 40s. But by Sunday, we're back to the lower 70s with more sunshine and then well into the 80s looking ahead to next week. I'm meteorologist Aaron White with your 10 weather impact forecast here on 97.1 The Fan.
We test marketed naming the show A Guy and His Butlers.
Oh, that is very touching.
But we thought Bishop and Friends had a better ring to it.
Weekday mornings at 9.
The Fan. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday, live from the Memorial.
presented by the Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling, and sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
I'm the dummy. He's Dane Senzenbacher, broadcasting live from the Champions Pavilion. The third round of the Memorial Tournament rolls along at Muirfield Village. It's moving day, and it is gorgeous. So if you come on out here, please say hi, wave to us. Dane finished his pair, so you unfortunately have missed that show. But if you're interested in seeing that, we're available on YouTube.
Yeah. Wave casually, though, because if you wave too hard, then
What's too hard of a wave?
Too vigorous.
Okay. So you're
either
too much shoulder?
No, either in speed or width of your wave diameter. Because it's like, then we start to think we know you, and then we're distracted from the show. So it's like give us a casual wave.
Like just one wipe.
Sure.
Okay.
And I think we're reaching the part of the show, too. It's like always in the 3-hour mark where we start to forget.
Oh, off the rails.
Yeah, we start to forget we're on air, and you just start saying whatever.
We never really began on the rails.
But usually I wouldn't have diverted your train of thought on whatever sport thing you wanted to talk about in the first hour.
That's what I love about
to specify the wave, but because it's the third hour, it's starting to get a little blurry. So you've joined at a good time if you're just joining us.
Welcome. We're on till 1, and then we've got some ESPN programming coming your way at 1 o'clock, and then at 1:50, you'll have pregame coverage of Reds at Cubs, Game 2 of that series at Wrigley Field, and 2:20 is the first pitch there. Dane's Chicago White Sox go later tonight, taking on the Orioles in Baltimore. That's at 4:05, actually. A Baltimore team that's won 20 games.
Heavyweight fight.
But Dane's Chicago White Sox, 18-36 on the season, brother. It's pretty solid.
It's a long game.
Chicago White Sox are very much in the AL Central, but they're the basement of that division. The Cleveland Guardians have the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim at 4:10. And now I remembered what I wanted to talk about, because earlier this week, a station in Little Rock, Arkansas, had Terry Bradshaw on. And you probably wonder, well, how does that make any sense? Terry Bradshaw owns a quarter horse ranch in Oklahoma, kind of near Texarkana. And so the proximity is there, where I think they went over to Terry Bradshaw's quarter horse ranch, which I learned this week was a thing, and that's fascinating to me, to see Terry Bradshaw trying to wrangle quarter horses, which I also forget every single year that the Ohio Quarter Horse Congress is a staple event in Columbus. You look like you've never even heard of that thing.
Yeah.
You've never heard of the Ohio Quarter Horse Congress?
I have not. That's why I was looking at you like you forget every year. I didn't know
every single year.
Remember,
and then I'm reminded.
I hadn't heard.
It's a big deal.
I'm sure it is, and I don't want to offend anybody for not knowing about it.
But
I learn a lot during the shows too, though.
Terry Bradshaw.
I'm not here to explain things and talk down. You know,
we are all here to learn. But the quarter horse show with Terry Bradshaw, he said about Aaron Rodgers, who everybody basically says is going to be the next quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Quote, "That guy needs to stay in California, go somewhere and chew on bark, whisper to the gods out there." End quote.
I have the sound on that if you want to play it.
Oh, why not?
Oh, let's go for it. Here we go.
That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man. That guy needs to stay in California and go, somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
100%. These guys on the show, Mr. Bradshaw, know I'm not a fan of his. We've been around each other personally, and he was not a kind person.
Now, he does not. I had to go over and introduce myself to him. He's not. I had to go, hey, Aaron, I'm Terry Bradshaw. I know he knows me, but I just felt like I better tell him who I am. Yeah. And not, you walk in there and you get in his presence and you feel like it's going to start snowing.
Now, it was a good job by Cole to play it, because I couldn't do it justice by just reading it the way I did.
Wonderful.
You needed kind of Terry Bradshaw's twang, and then the other
guy piling on.
Rock hosts come in. That ain't the Steelers' way. I'm like, well, that's the least Yinzer-sounding person I've ever heard in my life.
The Steelers' way. Yeah, that was quite.
Chew on bark's a pretty great insult.
It was quite. It seemed like a very personal.
Bradshaw's
jab at
not
him.
a fan, right?
I think that chew on bark is one of the funnier. insults. I think it's so strong and should have more of a presence in people's like casual insult vocabulary.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that offensive. You can say it around kids.
Oh, go chew on bark.
Yeah, but it has a sting to it that since I heard the quote, I've really liked. So good for Terry. I don't know. I'm in the minority. Why not get Aaron Rodgers if you're the Steelers?
Well, your quarterback plan's not great right now, and you would think that...
Well, I just think, clearly he's playing to the audience. Bunch of people that hate Aaron Rodgers, so it's like, what are you going to do? Get him for 1 year? When, yeah, Terry, that's exactly what you're going to do. That's what the value of Aaron Rodgers is right now. If you think you need a guy that can buy you a year, you're not getting him for the next 10.
I've been saying this for a couple months now. When they got DK Metcalf, they didn't bring him in to do Mason Rudolph or quarterback in the draft or Skylar Thompson. They brought him in so that they could go right away, and that 1 year window seems to be better fit by an Aaron Rodgers. Now, so the Jets are likely to release him as a post-June 1 designation. That doesn't mean earlier he could have signed anything or he could have made an announcement or anything like that, but we are here on May 31st. It's the most Aaron Rodgers thing in the world to do, to wait right until the last second, maybe even go a little bit further than that, and then say, oh, hey, everybody, I'm back. Like, that's coming.
I can. It doesn't seem crazy to me. I think there's plenty of organizations that don't have somebody in place right now, but have maybe other pieces around that. Sure, you get the value you can out of a guy. He might have 1 good year left in him. I mean, there's been teams that have taken chances on old guys and made a run.
Mm-hmm. Browns did it with Flacco.
It is kind of an un-Pittsburghy thing to do.
Well, but they've kind of been pushed. Their, I'd say, mismanagement of they got what pick? It was the 21st overall pick. Like the post Roethlisberger quarterback plans have been less than great, I will say, and that hurts when you do have a generational type player like Big Ben.
That's
the aftermath. Is well, now what? And a lot of teams aren't great at handling that.
More teams than not have that though in the NFL. Like more teams than not. If you've had one and you, it's really hard to replace. If you're the Colts, it's hard to replace when Andrew Luck retires. They've been struggling ever since, bringing in Phillip Rivers and every Flacco, every stopgap they can. They should get Rodgers. Just try it. Yeah, it's tough to replace those guys because they're not growing on trees like bark is.
If you're Rodgers and the announcement comes out, because of course Aaron Rodgers heard those comments. Of course Aaron Rodgers knows what everything is said about him at all times from a national standpoint. Like he might be watching in on the YouTube stream if that's the case. Hello.
Aaron.
He has to do the announcement with tree bark or something this season with tree bark, right? And tongue-in-cheek, because Terry Bradshaw does not have his number retired by Pittsburgh, but I think if Rodgers wanted to wear 12, he'd have to ask him. Now, Rodgers wore 8 with the Jets because Joe Namath's number was retired. But Rodgers in 8 didn't go well. I mean, from a statistical standpoint, last season he was really good. But like it was the first or the second play with the Jets, he tore his Achilles. So is 8 something you would even... Or would you think someone like Aaron Rodgers or anybody really be that... I'm looking for the word about a number. You know what I mean?
Would he find it important?
Superstitious.
Yeah.
That 8 is going to do me harm. So I got to go back to 12.
Absolutely he would.
Then he's got to ask Terry Bradshaw.
I don't think he has to ask.
No?
No.
If it's not a retired number, I guess.
If it's not retired, then don't ask.
Boy, I can't imagine that would go over well with that organization. But do you tell them to chew bark?
Yeah, I think so. I think Terry can chew bark on that one. Just say, like, well, it's my turn. I wear 12. What if he goes and wins a Super Bowl? Then who's chewing bark?
Wow, that's the biggest if in the world.
Well, I'm just saying.
Craig was saying in the YouTube chat the Cleveland Browns fans are the most loyal, and we sure are, Craig, alongside with lifelong Chicago White Sox fans like Dane Sanzenbacher.
That's why you and I click so well.
That's why this works.
We know the pain of like the long grind of a team that's struggling to get there.
But eventually it will pay off for us.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have seen it and been there the whole time.
Does college athletics need the NCAA anymore? That's in 2 minutes. It's Sports Saturday on the Fan.
This summer, elevate your backyard barbecue game with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus in Dublin. Experience the power of Napoleon's infrared sizzle zone, reaching up to 1,800 degrees in just 30 seconds for that perfect steakhouse sear. Stay connected with the Napoleon Home app. Monitor up to 3 temperature probes, all from your smartphone. Built to last with premium steel, the grilling season never ends with Napoleon Grills from Billiards Plus. Visit Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin and transform your patio into a gourmet grilling paradise.
It's not a bird or a plane. It's Mega May discounts at Coughlin Ford. Take over $5,500 off MSRP on a new 24 Ford Escape. Employee price $28,000. Or take over $7,000 off MSRP on new 25 F-150s and 24 F-250s. Visit CoughlinFord.com. Coughlin has the car for you.
All factory rebates to the dealer. All prior sales excluded. In-stock units only. Must finance through Ford Motor Credit. Not all will qualify. No security deposit required. Residency restrictions may apply. See dealer for details. N6225.
It's a different world today than it was 30 years ago when I started Care Heating and Cooling. This is Mike Weens, now the retired founder of Care Heating and Cooling with my sons, Dennis and Ryan.
Dad, 30 years ago, you were the first to warn of companies using service technicians as salespeople, of abusing the trust that a service technician has. With the big conglomerates now buying companies all over Central Ohio, this has become the normal business model.
It's all about greed. The conglomerates know they can make a lot more money by incentivizing their technicians to sell air conditioners instead of fixing them. They train their techs to take advantage of a customer when they are the most vulnerable.
Dad, that is not how we were taught. In 2024, Care Heating and Cooling was awarded a BBB Torch Award for ethics and was named the Lennox Partner of the Year. You don't earn those awards by leaving cat toys behind.
Call Care Heating and Cooling at 1-800-COOLING or schedule an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com. When you need a company you can trust.
97.1 The Fan. Memorial Leaderboard Update.
And this Leaderboard update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Rates as low as 5.54% and a $400 cash bonus when you refinance your auto loan with BMI Federal Credit Union. It's moving day out at Jack's Place with the third round of the Memorial Tournament underway, and so far it's not treating most golfers well, with 15 of the 25 on the course over par in their rounds. Stop me if you've heard this before. Scotty Scheffler is in the mix heading into the weekend. He's 3 shots back at 4 under after a pair of 70s in the first 2 rounds. He begins his third round today at 259 with Akshay Bhatia, who sits 2 back at 5 under. Nick Taylor and Ben Griffin are your leaders, and they don't tee off until 3:10 this afternoon. I'm Jacob Reimer, and I'll be back with one more live Memorial Tournament update in an hour here on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. You're locked into a special edition of Fan Sports Saturday live from the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain Heating and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Eric Reeser, Dane Senzenbacher. Day 3 of the Memorial Tournament, the 50th Memorial Tournament out here at Muirfield Village. They will celebrate the 50th anniversary in 2026. So I guess these next 2 years are the 50th, which is cool. Thank you to everybody for having us out here. Thank you, Fish, for coordinating all of this. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Cam. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob, back at the studio. Thank you, Cole, for making all of this possible. When I was coming in this morning, and a special thanks to all the volunteers out here in the golden shirts. This really does not happen without the army that Jack's amassed of people driving golf carts, driving supplies to the different stations, of people working the tents, the Golden Bear giveaways, the golf shop, the Champions Pavilion that we're outside of. Like, the volunteers really make
You're
this whole thing
start thanking
run.
the lamps at some point.
Well,
I love lamp.
During the day, they're not on, but thank you to the lamps for illuminating our path home later tonight. Thank you to Dane for blessing us with your presence. It's really the present of the weekend is Dane's presence. So I'm thrilled that you could join us here for this. Greg Sankey said, you played the telephone game before, right?
Yes.
I don't know if this is that, but Greg Sankey said that someone said to him, why do we need the NCAA? And to that, Greg Sankey said, I don't know. I'm paraphrasing because he gave a word salad answer that kind of agreed with that unnamed SEC athletic director, which I'm pretty sure is Greg Byrne if you do a job of connecting the red yarn on a corkboard.
That's a very funny way to bring up something that you clearly want to talk about. You know what somebody said to me?
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess. I don't know. What do we need
There
it for?
are often times where I'm like, no, I don't care. But in this case, do you need the NCAA to run college athletics? The way it's going.
It seems to be running right now kind of without it. So I don't know. I don't think that's good. And I'm not defending the NCAA for what they have been, but I think that position in somebody that's like the arbiter of fairness, I don't think it's good. I don't think it will be good for college football as a whole by having the Big Ten and the SEC run as two independent businesses essentially just negotiating with each other. I don't think that leads to a healthy sport as a whole that's representative of like what the spirit of college football was. Now, that's an idiotic comment to make.
I don't think so.
In this where we are, because it's not that. But sometimes I put on my rose-colored glasses and like to be. It still can be that, or like to think it still can be something different.
But your perspective is an important one because you were in that position of, air quotes, student athlete during a very tumultuous time, or what became a tumultuous time.
There was tumult.
For Ohio State.
Yep.
Because there were things that were done that now are looked at, you don't blink twice. At student athletes is the name they're still calling them, receiving gifts or receiving money or getting a cheeseburger from a booster off campus, or getting an automobile provided to them, or housing provided to them. Now it's all under the umbrella of name, image, and likeness, and marketing opportunities that were not provided to you or to your teammates, but in fact told you could not have.
Yeah, that's all different. You got them all, Eric. That's
I have more I could keep listing, but I'm not sure how much I want to keep opening that Band-Aid up.
Well, it's a absolutely different thing with different expectations and different motivations for players to participate in it. I don't think it's the same thing, but I still do think even from a cynical or simply like a business-minded perspective, if you're just looking at, even if you're looking at this is not about anything more than like playing football games and making money. That's fine.
That's it.
I still think it's more profitable even to have as many people under the umbrella as you can and not excluding even the small schools or the fringe conferences. I think it's a better product if it stays a thing that is a separate thing in structure and in feel from the NFL. You don't want to go head-to-head with the NFL. Creating a pseudo-pro league, I don't think is that it should be the goal of the NCAA or of college athletics. And I think if you leave it up to just the corporation, I guess, that is the SEC and the Big Ten to just go back and forth like they're Coke and Pepsi negotiating, I think you're going to sell yourself short. I think you're going to leave a lot on the table, even from just a business perspective. I think it needs to be a separate, unique thing. It clearly has the most important thing that any business needs, and that's the attention and willingness of people to pay to consume it. You've got the best part. It seems like they've actively been trying to mess it up, but I guess everybody's kind of scrambling to make sense of what this is and making sure they don't miss out.
Where we are in college athletics is, I think, because of 30 years of inaction by the NCAA.
Yeah.
Their desire to keep things the status quo when everything else is changing. Every single thing else is changing at such a rapid pace. They said, no, we're going to keep the control that we have with the same archaic rules that we have, and we're not going to do anything about it until it became too litigious for them to just hold firm, and they started making concession. And once you start making that first little concession, and it all starts to fall apart, to where I think the last thing the NCAA said was, yeah, schools can induce players in high school if they want to come to their university. They can give them an NIL deal straight off their senior year of football.
I mean, there is an argument. Yeah, I used to think that this could have kind of been avoided by doing it more slowly.
Yeah,
by changing things a little at a time.
Yes,
but I can also see a world where if you saw this was where it was going to go, that you just delayed as long as you could. Now, as ridiculous as it seemed to be in, 2019 and still on these rules of like, wait, this is amateur athletics
from the 90s. You're trying
the
to
90s. You're still doing the same thing.
It's bad business, frankly.
Well, that in itself, it is a bad business model and always has been.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense as a business to link these two things, a big-time sport that is housed at a university. It's never going to make a lot of business sense. So we're seeing the fallout of it. I don't know how you could have avoided it, given the pressures on the conferences, universities to maximize profit, to make money. It was always going to, I think, land in this spot we're in.
And when it goes live on July 1st, I should say, when the schools have to share athletic revenue with the players, it would. And again, they're going to keep doing this. The kicking the can down the road just leads to more litigation. It would be, I think, the best job in America right now to be a corporate lawyer for the NCAA, because going into the game you're going to lose, but the check's still going to cash. Like, the NCAA is still going to pay these lawyers, however millions of dollars are going to pay these big-name legal firms to go to court, to go to the Supreme Court and just get their asses kicked. And they're going to keep doing this because it's the only system they know. And people like Charlie Baker they bring in, and all he's interested in doing is just not making people mad, not insulting people. But he has no desire to enforce anything. And so you can't make rules without there being enforcement. And if you try to enforce something, then they take you to court. And you've been doing this for 30 years. And just over the last 10, it's become a serious problem. You're going to shell out $2.8 billion here in a matter of months. You've done this to yourself. So I think you blow it up. I think you dismiss the NCAA and everybody involved in that institution, and you let the power conferences make up. You can't bring the government in either because they can't run anything. Maybe the folks here at the Memorial can lend some expertise on how to properly do an event or events, because the basketball tournament, it feels like you don't need the NCAA for that either. But they love to have that. It's the only thing they do.
Well, that's their only money.
Remotely okay.
That's like the main profit driver, I think.
Because, everyone loves a bracket, but
we love brackets, and that's why we loved the playoff this year. I think, if you, blow it up. I think it'll make its way back to some sense of normal. There's too much interest in it for it to just go away. I don't know. I think we're kind of already there, and that's I still maintain the best answer in a lot of this is sounds great. That's a good idea.
Blow it up, make the players employees, have them sign contracts. You return the control back to the schools where they've wanted it this whole time. However, they're less likely to do that because, who would lead us? Because Nick Saban said he didn't want to do it. And if you can't get influential voices to have any interest in it, in fact, there's less interest because they all just want to leave as soon as they can, then this problem doesn't feel like it's going away anytime soon. But it's going to be changing, and it's going to be ever entertaining. I don't have a good way to do this, but we're back in a couple minutes on The Fan. Sports Saturday.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Summer 2025 is bringing something wild to your Columbus Zoo. The all-new North America Trek opens this summer, a reimagined zoo region inspired by your national parks. Get ready to get up close with Mexican wolves, black bears, river otters, bald eagles, and more in breathtaking new habitats. Discover local wildlife and conservation in action like never before. Plan your visit today. Visit columbuszoo.org for details.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger. fresh for everyone.
You can save big on 6-packs of Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or 7-Up. Select varieties or buy 2, get 2 free with your card. Limit 8. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to Bundle Deal Days at AutoZone.
Well, I do need a bundle of things.
When you bundle, you save.
Do I save if I bundle oil with an oil filter?
Save up to $12 on that bundle.
What about brake pads and rotors?
Bundle those and the brake pads are free.
Can't save more than free.
You can save on hundreds of deals during Bundle Deal Days. Ends June 2nd at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. Duralast brake pads only.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Boating season is finally here, and Buckeye Lake Marina is your go-to destination for all your on-the-water needs. With the largest inventory in Central Ohio, you can choose from top brands like Bennington, South Bay, Crown Line, and more. Buckeye Lake Marina has it all. Pontoon boats, luxury tri-toon boats, even merch. Open 7 days a week to serve you better. Find your next dream boat at Buckeye Lake Marina. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com today for all your on-the-water needs. The good life, the lake life, starts at Buckeye Lake Marina.
Join our resident gambling degenerates Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas for On the Money Sunday morning at 9.
Presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
All the action, none of the responsibility. The Fan.
When you join the plus side with AAA, that's all you'll have to do. Or you could learn to change your own tire.
Hey fam, what's up? Today I'm gonna teach you to change a flat. Before we start, make sure it's not raining, or hailing, or lightning.
You can have AAA find you the right insurance policy, or you can shop for your own.
Hello?
I'm with Mega Insure. You requested a quote?
Yes, 3 months ago.
You could have our travel advisors plan your dream vacation, or book your own travel.
Woo! Panama City Beach! Spring break!
I thought you said we were going to Panama.
Wait, there's a difference?
Skip the hard work. On the plus side, get more with AAA. Go to AAA.com/plus side.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Aaron. Hey, it's that time of year again.
What time is that?
The time all the air conditioners start breaking down.
Oh, that time. Yep, every year.
Get Eco.
ECO.
Like a swarm of bees. They all get together in a coordinated effort.
You mean the Queen air conditioner tells them all to break down?
Nah, they just get tuckered out in the heat, Aaron. Can we handle all the calls?
Sure, we have a swarm of highly trained coolness experts standing by.
Get Eco.
ECO.
And we have $3.5 million in new service trucks to get them there the day you call.
The same day? Well, what if you don't call until...
We'll come as late as you'll stay up to let us in. Same day.
That explains all the revving engines.
It's like a beehive of activity, Jerry.
Do you know I invented that weird Scoopy thing you serve honey with?
You should invent something for ketchup, Jerry. It's America.
Ooh, now that's an idea.
Get Eco.
ECO.
GetEco.com.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution Specialists.
30 hours of live Memorial coverage. Yes, please. You're listening to Fan Sports Saturday live at the Memorial Tournament.
Presented by The Waterworks and Header Plumbing, Drain, Heating, and Cooling. And sponsored by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Visit pausebeforeyouplay.org.
You know, it's only a matter of time before they do a live action Up, the movie. Like
Yeah.
they're doing Lilo and Stitch is out right now. And it's kind of going to help explain my brain fart from the last segment because I'm like Doug, the dog, who has like the translator and he can like talk kind of in dog, but then all of a sudden squirrel.
Yep.
And he's just completely focused on something. So we're out here, the Champions Pavilion right at Muirfield. So when you come in off the shuttles, we're here near the golf shop where they're giving away the Golden Bears. And
no, you buy those.
Oh, you buy them. You're
Don't
right.
come here and expect to get one for free. You're donating
to donate to Nationwide Children's Hospital will get you a golden bear. The golden bear drove by on a golf cart with his wife Barbara, and when he drives anywhere on a golf cart, there's a procession of golf carts. So there's like 8 of them that drove by at one point. And there's also restrooms not too far from us, but there aren't a ton of restrooms. And so obviously with the amount of volume of people that are coming in, the line backs up. And while there are a bunch of people waiting in that line, I'm thinking to myself, well, there are so many other bathrooms that they could walk to that would be easier than just waiting in that line. Are those people maybe surrounding Jack and like mobbing him because he's one of, if not the celebrity here at the memorial? And during all of that, Dane, I forgot we were doing a radio show.
Yep. We haven't talked about it much, that it's almost a game in itself to have a conversation and avoid the distraction as we look out into
what is a
growing crowd. And
you've done a phenomenal job.
We faked it for about 2 hours and 45 minutes without acknowledging. We have to, wave, interact, have multiple conversations, and then there's a bear driving a golf cart.
Oh, there's
and then
there's
the
the golden bear driving the golf cart.
Oh, I thought you meant a real. I'm just kidding, man. Yeah, it's part of the fun here. But we should talk about more about what we're seeing and put people in the play. I pitched that we should have a running like bird soundtrack for all these shows, so people kind of
like
similar.
The Nat sound.
Yeah, Nat sound like the Masters has.
I did think it would be a good idea to put just like a microphone like in front of the walkway so you get patrons.
A little chirp.
But I do feel like we'd have to apologize to the FCC and our listening public several times for phrases uttered that aren't fit for air. We have so when you're on the radio, you're supposed to be entertaining, maybe supposed to be informative, maybe supposed to sound smart, but the biggest thing, what's most paramount, is keeping the station's FCC license. So if we drop an F-bomb out here, if someone does on these airwaves and someone complains, bye-bye to the license.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are out of a job. Well, I'm out of a job. You'll be fine.
Thanks.
So that's my goal here.
Well, we won't do that.
No, can't.
But I do want to say, now that we're looking out at the fine patrons, and I think they're patrons.
Yeah, patrons is
what
the right word.
Call them?
Yeah, use the proper golf terminology. They're not fans.
And we've talked about how nice the weather is. It is a perfect time.
Yeah, it's 65 right now.
For a classy sweater. And some people's classy golf sweaters has just been... There's one right there.
Classy golf sweater.
Just a nice... it's very...
Describe the sweater for me, because you said
it was like a cable knit white V-neck sweater that you would wear until it's about 3 o'clock and it gets warm, and then you would tie it around your shoulders by the sleeves. I saw another one that was green and real nice. It just said golf on it on the front. So I've really
wondered what was.
I've to set the scene. I've really appreciated what the cooler temperatures has done for people's wardrobes. I think people are taking some good chances out here, and it's feeling very.
You see a lot of white shoes, and I've thought all day, boy, it's bold, because yesterday. And this was told to me by one of the volunteers as we're being brought into the clubhouse at about 9 o'clock this morning, that since they started tracking rainfall in 1870, this is the 13th wettest May. And so that produces very muddy conditions, especially in the parking lots, especially on the path walkways that aren't paved or that don't have concrete. And I know you walking in had kind of cream or brown or whatever the color of those shoes are. I've got like white on my soles. They're brown. Mud.
Yeah, it wasn't the best choice, but again, it's a very, golf tournaments, they call for a very specific type of outfit. The dress code here is a little bit...
Can't just do Birkenstocks or Tevas.
You probably can, but it's not... You'd be sticking out. So it's not quite the Kentucky Derby, but it's also not quite a football game.
Right.
Like, you've got to be appropriate walking around here. It's a very strange thing, but sweaters is what has caught my eye the most, and I'm enjoying it.
So Nick Taylor and Ben Griffin look to continue to separate themselves from the field. They're both 7 under. and we'll start their third round at 3:10 today. You got Akshay Bhatia at 5 under. He'll go at 2:59. He's paired with Scotty Scheffler. World number one's 4 under, so 3 back of the lead. He's carded back-to-back 70s. And when you look at the other 3 golfers in this, their scores have... Bhatia was a 70 for Thursday, a 69 yesterday, but Taylor and Griffin, they had 69 and 65 respectively, and then 68 and 72. And you look to go, all right, the difference of those 4 is Scheffler's just been the steady Eddie into moving day, when you might, and I think this is why sports books were so high on the world's number one golfer, see him really separate. Because this course is going to play all sorts of funky.
Mm-hmm. Well, like we said, Scotty Vegas took Scotty Scheffler earlier, and we said that was just like the...
that's not fun.
The least hot, the coolest take of the...
Coolest take of the
weekend.
week. Yeah, we got 30 hours of content here live from Muirfield Village, and the Scotty Scheffler's got my money.
Yeah, I'll take the number one golfer in the world. But he is... You've mentioned Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. You've mentioned Lilo and Stitch.
Well, so I get it confused, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Up, because I think Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs does have an animal with like a voice translator.
Up is what you're thinking of.
Up's the dog.
Yeah, it's Doug.
Doug, and he goes, squirrel.
Yeah.
So I mixed those 2 movies up. But I didn't do that on the air. I did that off the air, but now you're bringing my goof up onto the air, so thank you for that, friend.
You're welcome, because I wanted to bring in another that could kind of help us paint the picture is Monsters, Inc., which is a big part of my household right now.
Yeah.
Roz, the secretary, when when Wazowski, she knows he's up to something.
Mm-hmm.
Always watching, Wazowski. Always watching.
That's pretty good.
I feel that's Scotty in all of these tournaments. He's always there.
And
if he's back there, he's like just behind a bush, like, okay.
Just peering
you guys,
out
so if you're Taylor, if you're Griffin, hey, he's watching.
I had
Roz is on the prowl out there.
On Thursday, and this was just walking on the course. They recognized me. I'm not sure how.
Oh.
They're like, what's Scotty Vegas got going this weekend? I'm like, I think he's got Scheffler. And they're like, like, that wasn't fun. Like, they expected something.
No.
Like, I think he's going to build more throughout the weekend, but I think his early parlay was on the world's number one golfer, or at least part of his parlay is on the obvious choice, and then you build past that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that regardless when he's in the hunt, it's an interesting story. And I think I'm going to walk around a little bit here. If you guys see me, say hi. I'm very recognizable, so I'll leave my name badge on, too.
All right,
Just
so you know it's Dane.
So you know it's me.
Wonderful spending this time with you, bud. We do need to bounce. We've got ESPN Game Night coming your way at around 1 o'clock, and then it's Reds baseball. They're playing the Cubs in Chicago, Dane's least favorite baseball club.
Crosstown Rivals.
It was wonderful doing this with you, bud. Hopefully we'll be back next year on The Fan.
We're your radio home for the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. We may have a bit of a football problem. Oh, yeah? The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Road trip! This summer at Tire Discounters, your tires are your passport to savings, because you're driving to Paris,
Texas,
then it's off to Rome,
Georgia,
and you'll be kissing the Blarney Stone in Dublin,
Ohio!
Right now, save up to $514 when you buy 4 tires, and that includes a free alignment and oil change. Stop at Tire Discounters before you see the world.
Sometimes I hear a sparkling sound.
Like when we say, all you have to do is point?
There it is.
That's the sound of magic happening.
Magic like we can come the day you call us? Wow.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here. Spring weather has arrived, and we all know what that brings. Warmer weather and severe storms. Well, when bad weather hits, we all know it can cause leaky roofs or even damage to your siding and gutters. The Roofing Guys are your local experts in roofing, siding, and gutters and more, providing top quality through every roof, every time. So it's just a small repair, full replacement, or even peace of mind. You need to contact my guys, the Roofing Guys, 614-626-7000, or visit them at theroofingguys.com. That's theroofingguys.com.
Now at Menards, save big money on everything for your next project. Shop our huge selection of concrete. From general purpose concrete to specialty sand and mortar mixes, we have what you need to get any job done right. View our entire selection online or in store today and save big money. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Congratulations, you're having a little girl.
At that moment, everything changed. Our hopes and dreams for ourselves were instantly replaced by our hopes and dreams for her. We got life insurance policies from Shelter Insurance, so that regardless of what life throws at us, we'll still be able to provide the world to her.
Visit shelterinsurance.com to find an agent to help you pick a policy that's right for you. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
We could tell you what makes Giant Eagle special, but we think our customers say it best.
I love the fresh produce. I love the fresh meat.
I'm pretty sure the fish guy knows me by now. We're buds.
I love to grill. That alone keeps me coming back.
The people that work here are so nice and so helpful.
Everybody loves the cakes from Giant Eagle.
On every shelf, in every department, we're always going for better because being your Giant Eagle matters.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is my Giant Eagle.
This is Corey Sickles with Safe Harbor Retirement Group. Reliable streams of income are crucial for retirees, and Social Security and pensions aren't enough. We can help. Visit safeharboroh.com to schedule a complimentary meeting. safeharboroh.com.